Hello and welcome to another beautiful Wednesday night. My name is Spencer Bakuli. I'm the associate editor for Bounding Into Comics, and it is time for another Black Pill stream, the best time of the day on Wednesday, best time of the week. As you notice, it's just me back in the seat again. John came down with a slight cold. He's got a sore throat and a runny nose, so Boss Man's going to go heal up. So for tonight, you're stuck with me. First off, I'm gonna start out by saying hey to everybody in the chat. I saw Luigi the Metal 64 is here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, we'll probably talk about YouTube removing dislikes and all that kind of garbage. Tehillim, what's going on, buddy? I saw YouTube me earlier, and we had a little joke about me killing flies. Bunny with a keyboard, what's going on, buddy? Always great to see you around. Nerdigans, always a pleasure to talk to you on stream, even though we've been DMing anime tips back and forth. Shinkai, my man, what's going on? Yeah, all you guys are saying that it's going to be super late. I hope I got the timing right because daylight savings happened and everybody knows that. I live in Arizona, which doesn't do daylight savings. So now that it I have to host this at 7 o'clock my time and it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So now it's like 2 hours apart instead of 1 hour apart. So it's not creepy. It's crazy. And let's hope that I got this right. But don't worry, we shouldn't keep anybody up as long as we did last week when we had the amazing Lady Gravemaster on for one of the best streams I think we've had. I hope everybody paid attention to her lecture on gun safety because there will be a quiz at the end of the stream. Let's see. DC3, what's going on? Hello to you too. Drew, what's up? Hey, I didn't know you were around. Let me send you the link, and if you want to join, jump on in. Now I got to find the link and shoot it over to the chat or to Drew in the chat. All right. So yeah, in case you guys didn't see, we've got a pretty big show on tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, Eternals came out on Friday, and I saw it. But don't worry, I completely did not pay to see it. I won't say how, but Marvel, Disney did not get any money from me to see the Eternals, so we can talk that. Obviously, it's a disaster zone. Pardon me. We just got the casting announcement for the live action One Piece show. Netflix's live action One Piece show. So we'll probably talk about that. Get your guys' thoughts on that. And then probably what is the third topic I have listed in the video today? Goodness, I am all over the place. Oh yeah, we'll probably talk. Netflix announced a bunch of live action anime productions, or 2 of them. So we'll probably talk about those because I know that obviously the theme of tonight is probably Netflix and their live action. Bunny, a gun quiz for those of us with little bunny paws that can't work a gun trigger. What are you talking about? I've seen Jazz Jackrabbit. I know bunnies are fully capable of pulling those triggers. So exactly, Nerdigans. Netflix Japan was something. So, really, Tehillim? In Australia, you have one state that doesn't do daylight savings time, which is Queensland. That's actually, kind of exactly like here in America. I am 98% sure that Arizona is the only state that doesn't observe it. And it's like statewide, doesn't matter where you are in the state. So it's really weird. I know that we have our politicians trying to, cancel daylight savings, for lack of a better term. They want to just take it away and make us all on the same time, which I'm kind of in. Just let the days change earlier. I don't need anything like that. My new home, there are a few countries in Indiana or counties in Indiana that doesn't. Your new home in Arizona? Really? Welcome. You've followed me here. Yeah, Bunny, daylight savings is dumb, except when you get the hour back, because then it's like, oh yeah, I get to sleep in another hour or whatever. But of course, the downside to that is later on in the year, you lose an hour. Or if you're like me in Arizona, there is no jumping back or going forward. So if you're like me and the clocks don't roll over, but you think they're going to, you wake up super late last Sunday. Or, oh, my new home is Queensland. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought you were in Australia. Oh yeah, I didn't see Netflix Japan, but saw a cringe politician using Attack on Titan as a meme. We can probably also talk about that. Yeah, there's been a lot going on this week, huh? I'm definitely excited. Being near tropic and having the sun rise at 4:30 a.m. Okay, that is pretty bad. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people who like the second the sun starts getting like or the sky starts getting light, if I haven't fallen asleep yet, I feel like garbage. I'm like, oh my gosh, I stayed up too late. I'm too old for this shit, right? And oh man, that would be awful. Like to see the sun come up at 4:30. And yeah, in case I wish I could show you guys right now, but it would make this weird mirror effect. But even right now on the StreamYard's like counter, the timer up in the corner, it says I've been going for an hour and 6 minutes because the time zones are all messed up. Even though, as you guys know, it's only been 6 minutes. Yeah, I'm in a state where we do have daylight savings time. Yeah, I was in those for most of my life. Like I said, this is the first time here, and it's weird. um, Bunny with the keyboard. How's the Attack on Titan meme bad, but Kathy Griffin holding up Trump's severed head? Okay, so you know what? That's probably a really good transition. We can get let's get into this. Let me pull up the specific meme that Bunny is referring to in case nobody has seen it. I know I sent it to John, so it's probably in our messages. Okay, yeah, here we go. Got it. So, oh, he deleted it. No. Okay, so in that case, now given that he deleted it, I didn't know he deleted it. So, in case you didn't see earlier this week, Republican Representative Gosar, who I believe is, I want to say he's Arizona. Again, I just got to the state, so I don't know all my politicians yet. Yes, he is. He's a representative for Arizona. He posted oh no, the camera's doing the thing again. Let's hope it refocuses in a second. Oh man, this is like really bothering me. That's like I don't genuinely understand why it does this from time to time, because like I've gone nowhere. I'm still here. Oh well, we'll let it focus, and if it doesn't, I will deal with it. I'll find a way to fix it midstream, because this is like near unacceptable. You know what I mean? Like I'm super blurry. Yeah, Bobby Campbell, happy belated Halloween. I hope everybody had a great Halloween. Personally, I just handed out candy at home, but I got a bunch of Tootsie Roll, like the fruit Tootsie Rolls, on discount after the holiday was over. So I was super excited about that, because those are like the best candies that nobody ever has anywhere. Yeah, guys, I'm trying to figure out the camera while we do this before I jump into the topics for tonight, because this is just like if you're gonna be looking at me, then you probably want to see me, I would imagine. Oh man, this is so ridiculous. Oh well. Maybe for a second I will just talk like this. It's kind of like a podcast this way, right, guys? I mean, I guess you can do podcasts with video nowadays too, but I digress. I'm definitely just going all over the place right now. Let's see. I know this is. Oh, thank goodness, Drew.
What up,
here, buddy? How's it going?
What's going on, homie? Yeah, it's good to be home, daddy. No, bro, I just, I was going through a really hell week last week.
Oh yeah, man.
And I went through a pretty rough, depressive episode. So, I hope you guys never take it personal, because, it's just a bad like defense mechanism type of thing I got, where it's just happens, like, man. I get withdrawn and dude, I just like disengage, and yeah. So in there went Spencer. Spencer's internet. So I'm glad I'm here with Spencer. So
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have refreshed if you weren't here. But no, man, I hear you on the defense mechanism. I think we all have them. I have a very similar one to you, which is like when things get bad, I kind of just go away, kind of close myself off. But I think I speak for everybody, and we're just glad you're here. We're glad you're okay.
And it's it's like a thing that happens, and and I've talked to people that have gone through the same thing, and definitely a lot of people go through a similar experience, and so it was rough, but I'm back on the horse this week. I did my rogue stream yesterday, and here I am 2 for 2. I'm on Bounding Live, so that's good.
Weren't you on something this weekend too? I thought I saw you on somebody's stream this weekend. There was like a big stream. That you were
Sunday, I went on with Vinyl for.
I think that's what it might have been
for Enter the Unfamiliar, because we talk about UFOs and all that good stuff, all the weirdness,
all the weirdness in the world. Yeah, dude. Look, we've got lots of support pouring in from the chat. We've got Bunny.
Yeah,
it's virtual Bunny hop.
It's great to see everybody.
Keep your chin up. Yeah, definitely prayers.
Great to see Tony, Roof Korean, and
Roof.
It's great to see Tehillim and YouTube me and all of our usual regulars. It's great to see you guys. I wanted to tell you, Spencer.
What's up, bud?
Yeah, it's interesting. I see there was no shortage of Twitter drama, and hail Jay Lee, good to see you.
Yeah. Oh, Jay, what's up? What's happening? Not a lot, buddy. Now that you're here, it's happening.
Yeah. Thanks, Jace Fox.
Sending you love, Jace. Yeah, man.
I see our haters were out on Twitter in full force.
Oh, absolutely.
I got into it a little bit, because I always jab Vito every chance I get.
Yeah, right.
When he comes at me, if he came back at me with some lame response,
so annoying.
Look at that guy's small YouTube channel. It's like my small YouTube channel gets more action than yours.
That is Vito's number one defense. It's the saddest thing. If you guys go back and look at like the Twitter fights that me and Drew or me and John or whatever have had with Vito, his number one defense is always like, oh, look who's trying to talk. Somebody with like a tiny YouTube channel. Like, oh, okay, you're not worth anything. Yeah. Like he's pulled it on Drew. He's pulled it on Don. He's pulled it on Bounding into Comics. He's pulled it on me. And I don't like, and this was before I even started trying to have a YouTube channel. So I was like, what are you trying to do? Like,
it's funny because that Tuesday Rogue Entertainment show I do with ETEP and those guys, it's like, I'm always pulling 30 to 40 consistent viewers on that thing. So I don't know what he's talking about. It's like, it's getting more action than yours, dude. I don't care how big your YouTube channel is. If you do a live stream and pull in 12.
Oh, yeah, the engagement. Exactly. Well, his YouTube channel has been like floundering for a while. John and I have joked that he picks fights with us for the clout because he needs the attention.
He does, man.
I mean, I gave Vito props the other week for being for going to that Chappelle protest and like exposing them, but that doesn't mean like he's my best friend all of a sudden. He's still
I did too. I was like, I told him, I'm like, I don't like your crazy ass, but I give you credit, for that, but I still think you're
exactly. You're a weenie.
I just told him straight up. I still think you're a douche.
But no, you're like super right. We got the trinity of our number one haters this week. We got Matt Jarbo. We got Vito. Or no, first we had Matt. Then we had Andy Senor.
Well, you saw what I put, right? Where I was like, we need the pointing Spider-Man meme for all.
Yeah, I did. And I've been thinking about it. I was looking for that tweet. I was wondering who said it because I was thinking about it all day. Yeah, it's just like, and it's so funny you say that because in case anybody in the chat doesn't know, I don't know why this week they all decided to pop up. I'm sure there was some DM or maybe it was just timing, whatever. It doesn't matter. But earlier in the first in the week, we had Matt Jarbo show up, and he was like, complaining about something, trying to swing at the headlines again. Then we had the next day we had Andy Senior show up and again try swinging at us. And then I went into the chat with Dawn, Drew, and John, and I was like, you know what? Tomorrow we just need Vito to show up, and we'll have the Trinity, like the Captain Planet style, like unite. And not even like 2 hours after I said that, Vito just pops in, and it's just like it's so predictable. And in case nobody really knows what those guys were coming after us about, Jarbo just takes issue with us all the time. What was it this time? I got to look it up. I thought I had it in my head, but then I was confusing him with So that's right. So Jarbo comes earlier this week. I'm sure you guys saw. We published or John wrote an article about there is here. I can just pull it up. What am I doing? That's the whole point of having this live stream. And then of course your guys' favorite activity is watching me find my StreamYard window. Bounding. So yeah, earlier this week we had this article come out from John. Bob Chapek rumored to be feuding with Kevin Feige over Marvel's new woke strategy. It's pretty much as straightforward as you can imagine. The rumor comes from Doomcock, and it's basically just Doomcock says his sources tell him that Chapek's not happy. Right, my sources
on Reddit.
My sources, yeah, exactly. and so it's just that Chapek is like you're torpedoing this, like stop going in this direction, stop going woke, stop doing all the stuff. And Jarbo, when we post this article, Jarbo comes at us and is screeching like, "Oh, look, fake news! You're publishing things from Doomcock. How is anybody supposed to take you seriously?" And John and I are just sitting here laughing because if you actually read this article right here after the Tony Stark poster, John completely spends the rest of the article refuting it. And there's like 7 paragraphs. Even says, "Call me skeptical of this rumor. The public evidence points to Chapek fully backing Feige and his new vision for the MCU." So, like, it's clear that Jarbo didn't read the article because he was sitting here saying like, "Oh, who's supposed to believe you? It's a Doomcock rumor. It's just like all the ones about Kathleen Kennedy." And John's like, "Okay, you're clearly dumb. You don't know what you're talking about." Yeah. And so then, it was the dumbest thing. And then the next day, we published this article about Ms. Angelina. I think she, or no, is she married to Brad Pitt? I never know. No, I don't really care. I think they're just together, right? So yeah. So Ms. Angelina Jolie gave an interview about Eternals, and somebody asked her about the fact that the gay kiss scene between Phastos and his husband was banned from like the Middle East and Russia and all those like super like hyper conservative like countries, and not like American political conservative. I mean like definition conservative countries. But like so they were like, "What do you think about the fact that it's banned?" And Jolie basically said, "Hey, here, I can find the quote. I still don't understand, or I'm sad for those audiences, and I'm proud of Marvel for refusing to cut those scenes out. I still don't understand how we live in a world today where there's still people who could not see the family Phastos has and the beauty of that relationship and that love. How anybody is angry about it, threatened by it, doesn't approve or appreciate it is ignorant," right? Boom, that's the statement. Senor comes at us, and Senor is screeching like, here, let's see if I can go to my Twitter profile and pull it up. Senor is screeching. Oh, go ahead, Drew.
No, I was just gonna say, it's funny because whenever we report rumor stories, we always, in the context of the article and, normally in the opening paragraph, we let you know that, look, this isn't necessarily happening. This is just out there in the minutia floating around, and it could possibly be a thing. And we let you know that. And we write the story that way.
And if it is refutable, like John just did, we push back. We say, "I don't know about this. Like, you've done it, I've done it, Drew's done it, or Don's done it." Like, it's one of the things I love most about Bounding into Comics as an outlet, and of course, you guys are going to think this is biased, but I'm trying to be objective, is that I actually like that we cover rumors explicitly like that, and we label them rumor because, dude, nowadays, like, guys, think about all the stuff we've seen about like every movie. Like, there's a million different leaks. You never know what to believe. You never know if this is true or that's true or what's going on. And it's hard to, find who's talking about it, especially in the age of Twitter, where it's like, oh, this account said this one thing, and then you got to go to this one thing. Kind of like the other night when the Spider-Man when John Campea leaked those Spider-Man No Way Home images. I was talking to Nerdigans about it, and she and I were sending like 3 or 4 different links because all these images are spread out by different people. So not only do we bring all the info here for you to make your own opinion, but we tell you, like, this is what's going on. This is what people are talking about right now. And I genuinely don't see how anybody can take that and like get annoyed by it, right? Like, it's yes, we say it's a rumor. We're not sitting here going, it's happening. Oh my gosh, it's happening. No. It's straight up just like, here's the thing. People are talking about it. Matt McGloin said this. Our sources said this. Yada, 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 yada. It's the dumbest thing to get an issue with us about. Oh my gosh, I never even added this to the stream. I'm so dumb.
It'd be different if we sat there and printed something and said, this is verbatim. This is likely happening. We don't use language like that. We don't say this is likely happening. We've
never said that.
We just say it's out there that this could happen.
And it's we don't even say like that. Like, we don't even say it could happen. It's just like if this is out here being talked about, this is what people are talking about. Don't know if it'll happen or not, but this is what people are talking about.
Right.
Like, it's so dumb. It's one of those arguments they leap at when they have nothing else. Because
no, it is. It's like a half-cocked bad faith argument on their part, but they like to do it because they figure, oh, well, we'll punch down on bounding into comics.
They think it's super easy to punch down on us because we are not like a far left leaning website.
No,
I know for a fact that one of the things one of the elements of our coverage of Eternals is John's commentary from a Catholic perspective about homosexuality, that's his view on it. Those are his articles. Those are his takes. That's what he believes. And that's great. But we're not one of those outlets who's going to go, no, that's against the current zeitgeist. Don't talk about it. And I mean, I know I'm talking about Boss Man's articles, and I don't really have veto over those. But you know what I mean, guys? Like, our writers, we don't censor or we don't change the message of whatever they want to say, right? Whatever they want to say is their opinions, their view, and I think that's great. But that's why these people get angry at us, because we do have like more libertarian, more conservative viewpoints than all of these other outlets. And we also don't drink the Kool-Aid. None of us are like on the Marvel press list. None of us are getting invited to the premiere of Eternals 2, right? Like, so we are a stick in the mud to these people, especially because all of our articles, the way we report with everything being cited, everything, John always pulls up links from like days past. I always pull in archive links. You can't refute it. Like, all of our information is factual. We literally lay it all out and say, here you go. You can't say, like, so many people have come to us and they're like, oh, you're making things up. That's not what they said, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I literally just quoted what they said. Just like the headline is a quote from them. The article is a quote from them. That's like, I don't know what you want from me. Like, maybe you should have thought about how your words might have come across before you put them out there. Like, it's not on me that you seem like a wiener. Let's see. So Jolie, we published that article, and Senor comes out going, here's her full quote for context. She sounds on point to me. So, he's agreeing with her. And then this M. Hadley imprint, one of our readers, but when you can shot back, when you continue to draw attention to this one fact of a story about immortal cosmic beings, you're 1, making said facet unnatural, and 2, making it seem as if your story will solely be about that facet. And that's true. That's the thing we all talk about all the time, and we see all the time. When you go out and you market something as, look at how gay they are, look at how lesbian they are.
Yeah.
Like the show never, whatever series we're talking about, never cares to develop anything past that. It's just, what's the story? Lesbians. Okay, lesbians doing what? Lesbians. It's like, oh, this is so dumb. Like, what are we doing here? But that's the stuff that gets greenlit, right? So that's what Hadley was saying, and I kind of tend to agree with him.
Yeah, like, I understand John's perspective because he's Catholic. Look, I'm a Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to be like where my mindset comes from. I'm like a little more, I guess I want to say, liberal minded in some aspects on on the gay community.
Yeah,
because that's just the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with John to a large degree, and my biggest thing with the industry is that the industry never gives gay people a fair shake anyway. Because if you're gonna do gay original. Okay, make some seriously awesome gay characters and put them on screen.
Instead of just taking all these ones that are established and switching them up.
Stop with the switch ups because it just seems disingenuous. Because
it 100% is. Yeah.
Because exactly. Because people eye roll at that shit. They will take a well-designed character seriously, even if it's new, if the story around the character is compelling.
Good. Yeah.
And even if you want to, semi highlight their private life, in said movie, that's fine. But just do it original, man. And people will take it serious.
Exactly.
And don't have a hack writer doing it like they normally do, because they don't, because these people, it's so funny. They sit there and bitch about diversity and inclusion, but these people have not walked a mile in a gay person's shoes. They don't know what it's like to be gay. They're just like, oh yeah, look.
They believe the media narratives about what it's like to be X, Y, or Z, and so that's what they base everything on, and it gets to it is a stereotype in reverse. It is the stereotype of low expectations, which is
it is, bro, and that's
so awful.
That's what I can't stand about it. And it's like it goes back to like that shit earlier in the year when they like the shit we saw with the Snake Eyes movie that pissed you and me off about how they just sit there and they have no idea about Asian people. They're just Asian people know karate, or Asian people run with the triads because that's what they do, or stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so what? You're telling me like that's your impression of me? You have no idea.
Thank you. That's like exactly.
They got no idea. No,
Drew. I don't know if you saw this, but this is like. I'm going to do a quick tangent, guys, and we'll get back to the Senor stuff and then back to whatever we were talking about before. But Marvel literally just announced that there's a new Iron Fist coming, and he's Asian. Mm-hmm. And literally what you're talking about right there, Drew.
Why? Because he fucks with the chi, right? So he must be Asian. He must have to be Asian because
exactly. Iron Fist, messes with chi, and he knows kung fu, and he lives in like a Eastern Asian temple city, has to be Asian. And it's like that is the most that feels racist to me, that you looked at Iron Fist and went magical, mystical kung fu man has to be Asian. It's it's the same thing they did when Finn Jones was cast in the Netflix live action series. It's just, I hate it. It is just bigotry in reverse.
It's disrespectful as shit.
It's hyper disrespectful.
Yeah, I hate that.
Well, and this is also disrespectful too, is that Marvel and DC and all, not even comics, but movies and stuff, they'll throw out all their work, all their storylines, all their everything, if it means they score brownie points. Because this panel right here that I have up on screen, this is a panel from the second most recent Iron Fist run, where this little girl, her name is Pei, She lives in Kunlun. She turns out to be the like next Iron Fist. Like she's got the dragon mark, obviously. She's got the fist. Series ends with Danny sort of like pseudo adopting her and like, okay, I'll raise her, I'll train her to be the next Fist. Gone. Like no mention of her. She's already Asian. She's already there, and she's a compelling character because they took time to build her up, and her selling point was not she is Asian. So like that's what like pisses me off the most is that you have these great or like with I'm sure you guys all remember the Young Avengers. They had Patriot, the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, the original Black Captain America. That was and his name was Patriot. He had the shield and everything. He was part of the Young Avengers. He was a great character. Lots of death. All of a sudden, for no reason, Marvel just introduces a new black kid who was inspired by seeing Falcon Cap in action, and he's Patriot now. Just no relation, literally no relation to the other character, to Bradley, to Captain America, no shield. It's just like, oh,
so they erased the black character.
They erased a black character for another black character, and it's a black character people liked who was a like fleshed out character for like your basic like after school special type thing where it's just like, hi, I'm a black kid who was down on my luck, and then I saw Captain America Falcon, and now I can fight too. And it's just like, dude, bring back the other one, the one who I actually care about.
Well, yeah, I mean it's
These
such
are so
garbage, dude. And that's what pisses me off.
Dude, absolutely. Like it's pathetic. They don't need to do it. You can make, and I know Nerdigans is probably shouting this right now. You can make new, like all anime and manga, like any new series that pops up, those are all new characters you have to like introduce and get used to. Nobody is taking like Naruto and swapping his race. Nobody is taking Goku and making him trans, right? Like just make new things, and if they're good, people will like them. Nobody wants to be beat over the head and told you gotta like this. Let's see. Isn't DC3? Isn't it funny that I predicted that the new and unoriginal Iron Fist is Asian just by looking at the silhouette? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Most people did. Here's a really weird thing about this, actually, DC3. I'm glad you brought this up. So the writer for this series is Alyssa Wong, everybody's favorite. She does Dr. Aphra, the really bad Star Wars series. And another aside, in case you see the tweet going around from Alyssa Wong that says she, if she gets hired, she's going to do everything she can to destroy Stan Lee's legacy. That is a fake tweet. Like, I just want to make sure everybody knows that. We actually got burned by that back in the day. John wrote an article on it thinking it was real. It wasn't. We had to apologize. Article's still up if you want to see it. Just got a editor's note on it now. But the crazy thing, DC3, is that in Marvel's official press release that they sent out to people on their website, announcement, they don't mention that he's Asian. But Alyssa Wong on Twitter was like, I'm so excited to write an Asian Iron Fist. It got to be Asian. Yeah. And I don't think it really means anything necessarily, but it just was so weird that woke Marvel wouldn't be like, yeah, like let's put the fact that he's Asian front and center. It was just so weird. Yeah, exactly. Kate Bishop, when she was written well, and Stature, Scott Lang's daughter. Yeah, back in the day with the Young Avengers. Don't you have to earn the power? No, nowadays, Mitch, in media, you don't have to earn anything. You just
can run around with it out the gate.
You just get it. Like remember, look at Captain Marvel. Look at everything. Like there is no hero's journey anymore. To these what did you call them, Drew? Like these hack writers nowadays. Mm-hmm. Like they don't believe in the hero's journey. They see like the hero's journey as like an unfair struggle. Like, why should I have to go through all of this hardship?
Or they say what was the one thing one person said? The hero's journey is racist.
Oh yeah, the hero's journey is racist, and it's just like, no, it's not. It's literally just a concept. It cannot in itself be inherently racist. Like, so dumb. But yeah, you don't like nowadays because they don't want to face any adversity or challenges. You just get the powers. Things are just handed to you. You just show up with them. You just are instantly great at them. Like for all the complaints I have about what she represents to the company now and what they're doing with her. Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel was probably the last time anybody wrote a character who gets their powers and struggles with them and is like, I don't know what's happening. Like, they're out of control. They're so weird. Like mostly nowadays, you get your powers and you know exactly what you're doing. If you guys will remember, the last time it was me and Drew, we went through I Am Not Starfire. And the ending of that book, I know, right? The ending of that book has whatever Mandy learn to use her, like the book makes this huge plot point about how Mandy doesn't have any superpowers, never developed any. She's like 16, 17. She's never developed, Tamaranian powers. Very end of the book, she develops them. And not only does she know how to use them perfectly, like she's literally doing like Vegeta's energy barrage from Dragon Ball Z, but she beats Blackfire, like the evil, like ruthless version of Starfire.
She's like a boss version,
right? Yeah, and it's like, where did this come from? Like, what is the story? Like, this is dumb. Yeah, exactly, Mitch. I really do hope that people are seeing through this, and people can't see through this. You're right, but I am also thinking that more people are starting to see through it, because I didn't see a lot of good reactions to like this Iron Fist. Most of it was like me and Drew going, "Oh, so he's a Asian, or because he punches with kung fu, he's got to be Asian."
Right.
And, like, that was like 90% of it, and then all the positives I saw were from your normal type, like shield type accounts. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
this is great.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like oh my gosh, thank you to, like, they tag all the accounts and stuff. Like, thank you at Marvel for finally giving us like the representation we need. At Alyssa Wong, this is like those kind of people, like the worst kind of people.
It's like, represent me more, Daddy.
Right? Exactly. I need all the rep. When they introduced Ironheart, they didn't just kill off Iron Man, but also War Machine. Yeah. That's the thing, is that they want, what they want nowadays is their versions of the characters to be the new definitive versions of the characters. It's like what John and I always say, where it's they think they can do it better than these original characters. So when they can't, when they know that their like concept is not taking, they do things like this. They go, Iron Man's gone, War Machine's gone. This is all you have. You only have Ironheart to fill this like Marvel's super tech like suit role. Like, this is who you get, and that's your only option. And it's kind of, they hope you'll do the thing where it's like, oh, you're out of that. Okay, I'll get something else, and it's fine. But it's not like, it's never that. It's always like, wow, you're out of that, and you're out of hamburgers, and the only thing you have left to serve me is like pig slop. I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. It's not like a burger and a chicken sandwich. It's not good.
Exactly, dude. It's terrible, and it's just But see, oh god, I hate it because, like, I know what
doesn't, Mitch.
I know. Well, no, I know what we do here, and then I know what I talk about on Tuesdays, because you know what I talk about on Tuesdays. And it's
if you're not watching, you should watch.
And it's just like, oh god, dude, I don't. Can I please just go off?
You want to take off the inhibitors? Let's do it. Let's go, Drew.
All right,
fire.
All right, look, folks, we know, and this goes back to what I was talking about. Ever since I saw the interview with Yuri Bezmenov, right? This goes right along with the ideological subversion. Okay, what you see in entertainment, specifically with these comics, all has roots in communist Marxist ideology, and this is how they weaved it in. It's all purposeful. All these people that write for Marvel and DC now, they've all gone through the colleges, the fancy places with their degrees in gender studies, taught by the best radical professors that the country has to offer. Mind you, they're communists themselves. I mean, it's just, I'm telling you.
What did I see? I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just saw like the American Medical Association in their like guide to like practicing health. They straight up have a section now that is basically just it like says you should follow like communist ideology. I'm gonna find it because it's bad. So go ahead.
But this is why, specifically when we get into our sphere of what we cover here at Bounding about the culture war, well, that is the trickle down from that major thing that I was just saying to you. You know, the ideological subversion that took place, this hit every sector: comics, movies, television. Of course, it took over nearly the entirety of Hollywood, and those that don't agree were made to hide their faces, hide their beliefs. If they're patriots, they're not allowed to say. Yeah, and it's
it's not even if they're not patriots. It's if you're not a full blown communist. If you're not like if you're anything to the right of like the left side of the chart, you do not get a voice.
And this is why, because it's so effective, because those strategies as you're talking about, buddy, you know, and that's where they got trained, all of this stuff. I mean, these were the people that were reading, you know, some of that literature, you know, oh God, what's the book they always love? And they always love to read Noam Chomsky and all the other stuff.
Well, there's White Fragility. Are you talking about that one?
There's that one, but no, there was the other one. Oh God, I said the Anarchist Cookbook, but it's not that. It's not
that.
It's not
the Communist Manifesto. It's not that one. That's you already said that.
Something like that. It's the one by Saul Alinsky.
Yeah, I know. I see it in my head.
but it's but they've read that, and this is the stuff that they study, and they perfected the tactics, folks.
Yeah, I think it's this one. 13 Tactics for Realistic Radicals. I think that's the one that they.
Rules for Radicals. That's what
it is.
That's what I was thinking of. You know, and these are the type of things these people are trained on, and that's exactly, you know, why we have what we have now, because this has happened for decades. These people, you know, they've had time to hit generations with this. So we're now
subversion. Yeah,
we're now reaping the fucking the terrible consequences of
seriously, right?
You know,
Drew, this is what I was talking about. So this is in the new AMA thing. It says you have to recognize that there, like class conflict, that there is a permanent division antagonism between those who own and control capital and the resources and mechanisms of production, as well as the structures of power in society, and those who do not. But then the recognition by workers of their unity as a social class in opposition to capitalists and to capitalism itself. And then they also talk trash on, as always, individualism. Individualism is problematic in obscuring the dynamics of group domination, especially socioeconomic privilege and racism. Anytime anybody tells you that it's bad to be an individual, run. Just do not listen to them. Just run in the opposite direction.
Because that's what they're building around right now. You know, that's why the Great Reset has taken hold the way it has, because people have basically had their individuality beaten out of them. And, you know, we need to remember to be free thinkers and ask questions, challenge the world around you, and, you know, don't blindly accept what the mainstream tells you, what, you know, your political leaders tell you, even in some cases, what your church leaders tell you. You know, always observe and ask questions, because it is critical, even more nowadays, to be a free thinker.
100% there with you. Like it's all going down, or not downhill, but it's it is something we have to address.
As I said, Spencer, I hate to jump the shark and get into a whole
even jumping the shark. That is completely on topic of what we're talking about.
I know, but you know, I know that we kind of stay in a lane here, and we fight it at the level, you know, at least from the bounding perspective
Right.
of things. We fight it at the level of the entertainment sphere.
But that's the great thing about Black Pill streams. We don't have to limit it.
But
I mean, we're probably not going to start going into sports because I know.
The entire.
Oh, by the way, say good. Bye, OBJ.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but the thing that I wanted to point out was the direct result is what we're seeing with the entertainment industry, because it's
that's what I mean. Yeah,
it's a much larger sphere. And just because we don't publish articles where we're speaking on the Great Reset specifically or things like that, we know where it comes from, folks. We're not afraid to, we are, and the stuff I do outside of mounting, the independent journalism I do, that's why I go. Yeah. That's why I go and I tell you guys and give you the info that I do, because I'm constantly researching that stuff. Oh
no, you truly are. Like, if any of this stuff like catches to you guys in the audience, like, follow Drew's other stuff, because he knows what he's talking about. He's not fake. He's not a clout journalist.
Yeah, Nerdigans, you're right. I saw the stuff about Dalvin Cook. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's being
the
set
Dalvin
up.
Cook thing.
He's being set up. It's
I gotta look at those.
It's funny you mentioned Odell, Spencer. The thing that happened here pretty much was like it was weird because everybody was cool, but in the end, the dude was basically just like he could not play in our offensive system.
I know.
Period. Like the guy,
it's too bad.
Our stuff is like super precise. The guy wants to run like fly routes when he wants to run fly routes. The offense just don't work that way.
Especially not with Mayfield. Like, maybe who was your quarterback before Mayfield?
Because we run the same offense as the Vikings, bro.
That's true.
So like and that's why Diggs didn't work with the Vikings after a while, because this is the same type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. But that was pretty much why the whole situation happened with OBJ, and then it would just turned into drama that didn't need to be.
It didn't need to be that.
But in all honesty, nobody is really like seething at each other. A number of the Browns players had OBJ's back and said he's a great teammate. Even Mayfield said he's a great teammate.
He just wants to play to the best of his ability, and they're just not using him. This isn't one of those situations where it's like we all hate each other. It's more just like
that's why anybody that watches an offense like that's why Landry thrives in our offense and he puts up numbers, but he is a possession route runner. That's just the way that it works.
Yeah.
So I mean, but oh god, we jumped to football.
I know. Jump to head topics. We will not bore you guys anymore with our sports.
Yeah, we went bounding into sports.
I really feel like we should start bounding into sports, but that's a discussion for another time. Because
I would be all over that with you.
I'd be so in for it. Maybe we should talk about that.
But the thing is that I wanted to say like all day I've kind of been keeping up on the Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I feel everybody has. It's been a disaster.
That prosecutor is such a dickbag, man. God,
he's not good. He's not good. But then again, if anybody was watching like Rekieta's stream today, you heard him and the other lawyers criticize the defense because the defense wasn't doing anything. Like, they weren't stopping any line of questioning. It should be, if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend watching it because it's just insane. Like, it's a weird trial that everybody's talking about, but it definitely should be interesting seeing how this all unfolds. But before we dive too deep into that topic, we have some super chats. So the first is an Australian $5 from Raboul. Hail lobster, hail lobster, hail lobster. I'm going to send Captain America after you. I believe that is the Red Skull's catchphrase nowadays. So
yeah.
And then we had another $2 super chat from Raboul. The left act like a hive mind. Absolutely.
They're the Borg, dude.
It's consume. That is
they're the Borg.
That is what they want. They are the Borg. It's take everything into us. strip out everything that makes it cool and unique, and then move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Binger. That's the prosecutor's name. He was fun. Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, exactly, Nerdigan. So does the far right. Any group of people is going to have a hive mind, and the problem is the far left one is the one that gets listened to the most. So that's the one that we always have to deal with because like nobody ever gives a conservative whatchamacallit, like group or backlash any like medal, but the second somebody on the left is like, this is too violent for me, it's shut down. It's like, all right, we're done here. We got to change it for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was so yeah, just to wrap up the Senor stuff, because that's where we started with this. Yeah, so this is where Senor went. He went, nice spin. The only one drawing attention to it is the press, the one who asked her the question, and even more so, bounding into comics for highlighting the non-newsworthy quote as headline news. And so I went, such noise. Did you have a problem with Yahoo, The Hill, or Deadline when they reported the same quote? I know you don't like us, and that's completely fine. You're entitled to your opinions. Just stop being such a disingenuous dork over it. And we kind of got into it. You guys can go read it, the full thing, if you want to. But I basically called him out and said, here's your Twitter feed. You've called out no other outlet, because he says, I'll call out any outlet doing the same click rage bullshit. So I went and I looked. I'm like, you didn't. Like, literally none of you've called out nobody in the press. You've said nothing else. You only swung at us. And then he tried to move the goalpost by saying, like, I said I'd call out any outlet that did it. They didn't show up in my feed. Your outlet did. And I'm like, you're moving the goalposts here, Andy. Like, you never said anything about, I'll call them out if they're in my feed. You just said I'm going to call them out. So he's a big dork. That was kind of what happened there. And then Vito just showed up today, and we just kind of went, you know what, we're done with you, Vito. Like we're done here, Vito. We don't need this from you today.
Vito, man, he just, I swear, dude. I think he does half the time sit there and try to talk shit for clicks to try to get to try to get a public thing to say, look, I got into it with bounding again.
Every one of these critics that come after us, the trinity of Jarbo and Vito and Senor, they always try for a gotcha. To bring it back to what we were just talking about,
it's our
with the Rittenhouse trial. They're like Binger. They're like where Binger kept asking Rittenhouse the same question over and over again, hoping that he's going to slip up and say one wrong thing. That's what this trinity does. Or like what's that other? There's another one I would add to that. Reggie T or whatever, the comic creator who like does not know anything he's ever talking about when he comes swinging at us.
Do you highlight condescending Josh at 10:02?
Yeah, dude, I have that thought. First off, hey, condescending Josh. Hey, welcome, buddy. For quick side. Good night, YouTube. Me. Dang, working 5 hours. Thanks for hanging out. I don't know if I'd have had the strength to do that when I had to wake up in 5 hours. So I really appreciate it, or we really appreciate it. But that's what I'm saying. Senor and Jarbo in the same room. I don't know. Somebody go ask Andy if he's able to pick up boulders. We need to see that ability, and then maybe we'll know if he is Jarbo.
Vito is a grifter, says Reveal. Yep.
At this point, he's starting to feel like it. There was a time a couple years ago well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like a couple years ago, Vito was a genuine creator. He had just criticism videos, whatever you call those. And now I don't know where he's at now. Now he's just trying to. What he does now is he tries to antagonize everybody and then go like it's.
He's trying to be like Keemstar Jr.
That's kinda. Except for Keemstar actually. I mean, I guess he quit, so he doesn't produce content anymore. But he is literally just. I'm trying to find this comic because it perfectly sums up.
But the thing, it's funny with Vito. You guys will laugh because back this is a couple months ago, I think, when I got into it with Vito and he was trying to personally trash talked me, and I told him, I'm like, you know, you need to go back to your audience of shitty Roblox kids. Because I mean, because it's for real, man. I'm like, bro, check your audience.
Dude, he really needs to. He has. I feel like he's just. He needs to be. He needs to like go down a peg. Like he really does it. He's one of those people. I couldn't find the comic, but he's one of those people who goes out and antagonizes you, and then the second you push back, goes like, "Oh, look at you! Like, why do you care? Now you're pushing back. Haha! Look at this idiot for caring or for pushing back or for getting angry. What a dum dum!" And it's like that is the most childish way you can interact with another human being. Like it's so pathetic.
No, he tries to victim trap you, and say, you know, oh look, he came at me. I was like, come on now, stop.
Right, exactly. It's fun to get into it with them, but then eventually, I kind of just like ignore them, or like I get bored really easily with them now because it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So with that, we should jump topics because I think we are done.
Yeah,
with,
load up the next topic. I gotta hit the head. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be here. So what do you guys want to talk about next? We can talk about if you went to Japan and wrote a blog about it, it would be called Tokyo Grift. No, that's Unseen Japan, if anybody is familiar with that account. So let us get into. You know what? Let's start with we're an hour in. You know what? We should hit up let's go with Eternals if anybody wants to let's talk Eternals real quick in case anybody saw it. I guess I'll just leave it here on this image of Jolie. See, I want to get into the live action Gundam, but I want to do that in a bundle with all the other anime stuff. So I think we'll close on all of those. That'll probably take up the rest of our time after this. I feel like there's not a lot to talk about Eternals on. In case anybody saw it, sorry. My thoughts on the movie, it is essentially a 2.5 hour snore fest. It suffers from the exact same problems as Justice League, both Whedon and Snyder's cut, which is you were trying to shove way too many people into one movie and you can't accurately give them like the proper time to make me care about them. I guess I'm going to go into light spoilers in case you care or you don't care. Maybe come back in like 10 minutes and I'll probably be done with Eternal spoilers and probably even in 5. I just want to give a good window in case I get on a tangent. But in Eternals, very early on, probably kind of the driving plot of the movie is that I think it's Ajax. What's her name? What's the actress's name? Oh my gosh, it's not. It is. I like. It's not Selena Gomez and it's not Selena Kyle. It is. Oh my gosh. Selma Hayek. Selma Hayek gets killed and she dies, and it's supposed to be this big emotional moment that sort of propels everybody to get back together. And there's always those scenes where the Eternals show up and the Eternal they're going to is like, oh, it's been a while, hey guy, blah blah, and then they're like, Ajax dead, and they go, oh, then we need to do something. Like that's kind of like every recruitment moment, and it's like it doesn't really, there's no emotional weight to it because it's like, who, you haven't made me care about this character at all. She's been in the movie for like 3 minutes. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to get into, Mitch. The race swap Japanese character for an Indian guy and replace the Middle Eastern character with a Korean guy. That's the thing. That's the thing about this movie that really bugs me is that they not only did it's kind of like what Drew and I were talking about earlier, where they swap one character just for an easy representation because they get to go. And again, guys, in case you haven't seen lately, going back to like what Drew was talking about like society, Joker style, Asians don't matter to them anymore. No. Literally, if you go to my Twitter, one of the tweets I had up here, I still have my Twitter up, from Chris Rufo, the guy who's exposing all this CRT stuff in our schools. What is this? University of Maryland literally made a new category, or like this is how they divide their like racial statuses now. It's students of color minus Asian, and then white or Asian students. Like, are you kidding me? This is how you know none of this. This is how you know that all of their talk about like social justice is nothing. It's all for them.
Social justice is a 100% grift.
100% grift. Because they don't care. They don't actually care about this. If they actually cared about social justice like they claim, they would be crapping their pants over this. They should be crapping their pants over this. And they're not. They're supportive of it. They say this is great because it's not whatever designated skin tone is the like persecuted class du jour. You know what I mean? Like it's so bad.
You hit that right there, bro. That's
exactly
what it is. Exactly what it is. Because 9 times out of 10, these people eventually expose themselves to be the actual racists.
Oh, 100%. Like, again, like we were talking about with the Iron Fist, they get to use stereotypes, and to them it's okay, and I don't understand it. Like the social justice grift, like all those people, they're so hyper racist that it is insane to me.
Yeah,
like, it is dude. Bizarre.
And Mitch, you know, you're right there. Look, I can't tell you how many times, bro. And people have seen my picture. They call me a freaking white boy. It's like, really?
That's weird. I cannot.
I'm like, how? I'm like, okay. I'm like this, but I'm a white dude. Okay.
I don't even. Your default skin tone is just too dark to be like white.
Makity, like what up, bro?
Makity,
my fellow rogue.
But yeah, see, that's the problem here too, Mitch. Is that once you start chopping up everything into these very hyper specific categories, you get into questions like this, like what is white? What is it? Your facial features? Is it? And that's where you start getting into all these weird weeds, which for a normal person does not really matter. I think, for a normal person, the descriptor of like, are you Asian? Are you East Asian? Are you black? Are you white? Like that's a good enough descriptor for 5% of your interactions with people. Hardly anybody would interrogate you about your background, because this is not Germany in the 1930s. Like at this point, they're going to start asking for papers, right?
Yeah, dude. YouTube me is on fire right now. Look. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
But no. He was telling Mitch.
Cracking.
He was telling Mitch. Something that race hustlers ignore is that in the non-Western cultures, lighter skin is considered a superior person. Yeah, and it's crazy. They go and still they go through with these nonsense arguments every day. Every day that all those of you that have Twitter, when you open your Twitter feed, I mean, you can just see the mental illness rolling off your feed, man. It's crazy. Yeah, and Bunny, you're right about that. Nobody who isn't, left-wing progressive, and then let's get that right. It's mainly the folks that consider themselves progressive, and we know that they're really regressive.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody who isn't them, no, they don't care about skin color. A lot of folks don't even care about species. Yeah, you can be a bunny and still be treated like everybody else on the right. Yeah, it's insane.
Hashtag stop bunny hate. Hashtag stop bunny hate.
Yeah. And Mitch,
also, when was the last time you saw that hashtag? I told you it was all a bunch of crap months ago. I told all y'all guys.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, man. Stop guinea pig hate too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, stop small rodent hate.
Mitch, you're right about that. Poison is progressive. That's exactly what it is. And man, I got by the way, Spencer, I got something to show you after we finish our quick topic here.
You can pull it up right now if you want.
Okay, because
if you just want to add it to the stream,
man,
I'll throw it up on the board.
Because it's a little bit of a pivot for a minute, but But yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. I just gotta track it down again.
Pivot. Yeah, give it a look, and I'll pull it up as soon as you've got it. I wanted to get back to Revul. I wanted a Jack Kirby's Eternals, not this rubbish. 100% agreed. The visuals were, again, guys, like I'm getting to the point. I don't know who here saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I was watching that movie, and it literally, I had to pause it halfway through because there was just so much CG that I was just like, it's noise. Like I can't hide, like I can't deal with this right now. And that's what like Marvel movies have become. And ever since Phase 4 started, it's way more apparent that all of this stuff is super CG. And that's what Eternals is. Everything outside of the moments where they're interacting with each other as like humans in disguise is all hyper CG and just such a mess of noise that doesn't like need to be there. They definitely could have gone with more colorful costumes. I would have loved to see more Kirby crackle. The thing I wanted to get to about the Eternals and how they're created, aside from the fact that like the different race things is weird to me. Oh, here we go. I'll get back to it because Drew's got his thing.
All right, so check this out, guys. Yeah, I kind of, man, I'm no lie, I'm kind of crushing on Tulsi right now. Check this out.
We can't hear it.
Did the audio not play?
Here, shoot the link to me directly, and I'll pull it up. I know how to get it to play. Yeah, exactly, Josh. Marvel's Eternals, more like Josh Trank's Eternals, like in Infernals. No, I definitely agree with you there. I also completely feel like the movie was made just to introduce the Celestial Avengers base from Jason Aaron's run, because that's kind of like all we're left at the end. And then of course, like, you know, their whole thing about so for those of you who don't know, the whole why didn't you interfere when Thanos or Civil War or any of this stuff, the Eternals basically explain that like, oh, we're only supposed to interact with the deviants and like stop them when the deviants are coming in, and we're not supposed to affect anything else. And it just like doesn't make sense because again, like you see them early in the movie, yeah, they are fighting deviants, but they're still helping human development. And like Phastos makes like the plow and introduces it to him. So it's just a lot of inconsistencies within the lore. Again, you guys have probably heard me say this millions of times over the last few weeks, but Marvel is officially at the point where they are taking the worst lessons from their comic books and bringing them into the MCU, which is give everybody their own, like let them make their movie and kind of continuity be damned almost at this point. As long as we can promote the next movie, as long as I can do that, then that's all I really care about.
It's in the private chat, homie.
I'm pulling it.
Yeah. So check this out, guys. Yeah, I'm kind of crushing. No lie, she's on fire right now.
All right. Let me know if you guys can or can't hear it. Whatever. Let's see what Miss Tulsi has to say. Can you hear it, Drew?
No.
Okay. Then give me 1 second. I know how to do it. Let's vamp. So what did she say in the beginning? Oh, doesn't she just say literally what's in the tweet? Yeah, she just says what's in the tweet, Drew. So yeah. we can just read her tweet if you want to bring it back up.
But
because she says it's just like one for one what she said.
Yeah, but she's pretty much on point with this though. Like, I mean, she says in here that you know, when they didn't protect safety, lives, and property of innocent people, and so we ended up with a tragedy here because the prosecutor didn't even do due diligence before making the decision to prosecute. And she said this tragedy would have never happened if the government carried out its responsibilities to protect safety, lives, and property. And she's exactly right. God, I love this lady because she seriously like got such populist energy, man. She's like great
For the people.
Yeah, she is. She legit is. I mean, she's still a little bit too left on a lot of stuff for me, but man, she is like still on point with a lot of stuff she's saying. I really think, man, I wish she would just switch and go Republican, but
Nah, it wouldn't. They wouldn't like her. She's in a hard place, and it sucks because she is such a centrist that neither side really likes her.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She is,
which is too bad for her. So she's really got to fight for, like, any sort of voice in politics.
Well, that's why I think she just hung it up and retired, dude.
Yeah, right. I'm with you on that one. But yeah, so give Tulsi a follow. Always check out what she's doing. Let's see. I saw a question in the chat. Did they explain if they're supposed to keep their existence secret? No, they didn't say anything about that. They're clearly what's his name? Kumali Najani, whatever his name is. His character is a movie star who has been acting since like movies started, or he's like a Bollywood star who's been acting since movies started. And it's actually the one interesting. So his whole thing is that he was an actor when Bollywood started, and every time like a generation passes, he just says like, "Oh, that was my father," or "That was my grandfather," "That was my great grandfather." So now he's part of like this acting dynasty, like the Baldwins, right? That's how he explains like why he can be seen. But no, there's no real rule that they can't show their existence. Which is again, why didn't you show up at any other time? You've clearly been interacting with the world. But yeah, surprisingly, Kumali Nanjiani's character is the only character that is actually interesting in this movie because of that whole little Bollywood thing. Like that's an interesting plot point. That's a cool thing to explore. And then he has a valet with him the entire time, which is very Bollywood. And they're filming like a documentary on the Eternals. And so that gives a sort of fun angle. And that's kind of like the only interesting thing I can really think of from that movie. They tried to shoehorn in Gaiman's run where Sprite was trying to age up and stuff. Didn't really work with the rest of the story that was going on. They spoiled their own reasoning when they introduced Thanos' brother, Star Fox, in one of the end credit scenes. That's the thing, is like technically Thanos is a deviant too. So like, why didn't you go after Thanos when that happened? I also think it would have been really cool, honestly, guys, if they'd have taken Eternals and made it a show. This is like a perfect material for a show. Make it one of their Disney Plus shows, and whatchamacallit, do something with the fact that like when Thanos, so you basically find out that the Eternals they're basically like celestial robots. Like they basically just get created by the Celestials to do whatever job is at hand, or to go to a planet, get the energy and birth a new Celestial. So they're basically robots. It would have been really cool if you did a series that kind of explored like, oh, Thanos snapped the universe. Get all the Eternals back together. Wait a minute. Why are we all here? This is crazy. Yeah, right. Everybody, there's only one Star Fox to me, and that is McCloud. Definitely McCloud.
Man.
Yeah, basically Vampire Masquerade rules. It's weird. If it was boring for 2.5 hours, wouldn't it be boring for 10? No. Or you know what? Yes and no. So the reason it was boring is because it's all exposition like packed into like this little area, and then of course ends with a Marvel explosion, big CGI noise fest, right?
If it was presented, I think in a format, what format actually would work for it would be like just the really small, quick episodes like The Mandalorian.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
That would actually work for something like that.
Give each character, like, give them their episode where they meet up, they fight a deviant or something, and then you go on to the next one. At least that way it paces it better, and it gives you time to get to know everybody. In the movie, it just shoves everything at you and like just expects you to remember everybody, know everybody. Like I mean, like, yeah, of course you gotta know characters, but it's too much for what they were trying to do. Obviously,
Hail, Sean the Movie Man 79.
Sean the Movie Man, hail, buddy, what's up? Like, obviously, Chloe Zhao is a great film, or like, at least to me, like, I've seen Chloe Zhao's indie stuff. I really like it. And you can tell that in the scenes that were like interactions between the Eternals themselves, that's where she kind of shined, because you got a lot of that like person to person connection, the very quiet sort of indie drama connection moments. But again, this is not the right sort of vehicle for it. Like a big action blockbuster, it's not the right movie for that, which is why I think like give her a series, let her have those moments where she can explore, and then just pace it out better. And also don't hire directors who are great at small scale storytelling for your giant CGI clusterfest. Like, that's literally the best advice I think I can give anybody.
Are we
What's up?
Are we pretty lock, stock, and good on this topic?
I think there was I just wanted to really quick show everybody in case they didn't know. So there are two post-credit scenes in the movie. The first one is so basically the Eternals ends with, and I still don't understand this, the Eternals ends with a Celestial coming back to Earth and saying like, oh, you guys prevented a Celestial from being born, I have to put you on trial. And he takes like 3 of the Eternals but leaves like the other 3 alone, which is super, like, I don't understand it. But so the first mid-credit scene shows, and I think you can get a little in the screen. Yeah. So right there, Harry Styles from One Direction as Star Fox teleports onto the Eternal ship and is basically like, hey, I know where your friends are, and they're in trouble. So like, let's get going. And then there's Pip the Troll is there, voiced by Patton Oswalt. It's not great. Harry Styles is a weird acting choice. Like, I just feel like he's not there as an actor yet. But then we have a second post-credit scene, which is what's his name? Jon Snow. I forget that actor. Kit Harington. He plays Dane Whitman, who you guys might know better as the Black Knight. In the post-credit scene of the movie, and this is like another big thing I had with the movie, is Marvel promoted like, oh, Black Knight's coming. It's going to be Dean. He's got like Ebony Blade. It's all here. Plays a big part in this story. He's literally just Cersei's current human boyfriend who gets sidelined the second she has to go explore the world with the Eternals, and then meets up with her at the very end to be like, oh, so this is an interesting thing. Like that's so crazy. And then so the post-credit scene is him looking at the Ebony Blade, and it's like calling to him, like, come on, like, pick me up. And then you hear another voice off screen go, are you sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman? And it's Mashallah Ali's blade. At least that's what Marvel said. So that one's kind of, I don't know. I'm not even excited for any of those post-credits things.
Right.
So that was kind of the last thing I wanted to throw out there about the movie. Maybe we'll circle back if the chat has any more questions. But yeah, I think that's where we are on this topic. Why? What's up? What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share this since I was absent this week, guys, and I didn't get a chance to write a piece. I'm not sure if we necessarily touched on it as a publication, but I'm gonna go ahead and share this just in case.
Oh yeah, DZ3. It's gonna be hard to bring Star Fox into the MCU. Like, he will be given his powers of like pheromones and persuasion and basically being your good old-fashioned lover boy. Oh yeah, he's gonna get hashtag cancel Star Fox.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share this since I technically am the writer that covers Battlestar Galactica here.
Yes, you are.
This was big news, and that is this week we lost
Dean Stockwell,
who was in Quantum Leap, and also best known as Cylon, one of the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. He played pretty much the big bad in the 2000s Galactica, and he passed away this past Sunday, and he was 85. looks like he died from natural causes.
Thank goodness.
His family apparently told Deadline, and the guy had a long career. You know, he was a child actor that I mean, he started off as a kid actor. He was alongside like people like Frank Sinatra, Errol Flynn, of all
Jeez.
people. I mean, my goodness. So, so yeah, you know, he's pretty much he really kind of hit it because people really liked him in Quantum Leap because everybody loved Al. Everybody loved the character of Al. And then he really killed it in 2000's BSG because he played Cable, and Cable was the big bad Cylon, you know, which, by the way, we are, you can see a lot of the Cable stuff because we are pretty heavy into, we're into season 4 on the Pegasus Actual podcast of
Dang, making progress.
BSG. Yeah, and we're progressing
Like
pretty
plowing through
much.
it. Yeah.
We're almost to the halfway point of season 4, and we're getting towards the big ending. So those of you that may or may not have been into Battlestar Galactica, check out Pegasus Actual.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow on my channel, it's myself, Brightest Day, Arwen Avalon, and that is our nice way of presenting content that is an escape. So if you enjoy BSG, you'll enjoy that show. You know, we talk all things Battlestar, and you know, we're going to cover the rest of the 2000s Battlestar Galactica. Then we are going to do the little mini movie, The Plan. And then after we do that, we are going to switch gears. And those of you that are fans of the original series, we are going to start working on covering the 1978 Battlestar Galactica. So it'll be fun. So make sure that you come by, check out Pegasus Actual tomorrow. And I usually start that stream about 9:20, 9:30 in the evening, Eastern time.
And it's always a good time, guys. Like, I love watching when I can. Yeah, and season 4 already. Damn, I feel like it was just the other day that you guys were in 2.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you know, it's just it's been flying by, and we've even, you know, here and there, we've even missed some weeks, and still, it's just like flying by, man.
Oh man. Oh, yeah. No, I hear that. Sorry. So this is something Bunny just, or not Bunny, Nerdigans just shot over to me. This is super weird. I don't know if you caught this, Nerdigans. So this was, I guess, just announced like an hour ago while we were on stream. Zoya Akhtar to direct the Archies comic book adaptation for Netflix. In case you guys don't remember, because it is way before I think all of our times, the Archies were the what do you call that? Like dream pop or like bubblegum pop band that existed in like the 60s, 70s, based on them, on like the Archie comics characters. You've probably seen the animations of them playing music and stuff. So that's what they're adapting, which on its own, you know, not a bad idea. I could see an Archie's show being good, except for like DC opened the floodgates with Joker, but like I'm getting really tired of like everybody being cast as like every character. There's like 7 people who are Superman right now, and like I don't need another Archie alongside the people from Riverdale, you know. But so this is the thing. I don't know if you caught, Nerdigans, but for everybody here, acclaimed filmmaker Zoya Akhtar will direct a coming-of-age live-action musical set in 1960s India based on the teenagers of Riverdale. Like, I don't even understand.
How does that equate?
What is it? The feature film adaptation of the Archie comics, which are hugely popular on the Indian subcontinent, will be produced by these people. Yeah, that's so weird. That's
just weird. Come on.
Yeah, we are. Archie's comic CEO. We are thrilled to partner with Netflix and trust Zoya Akhtar and her creative team to deliver a truly unique and exciting take on Archie and friends through the lens of Indian cinema. We know that these characters have global appeal, and translating them into other settings and cultures is just the start of what we have planned for future multimedia adaptations. Oh boy! So
it's basically Bollywood Archie.
Mm-hmm. But like, not all the way. I don't know, dude. That's just so. They're definitely trying to pander to India, and I kind of just don't.
It's super weird, I mean, I don't. Again, I don't mind stuff like that, but
no, I don't either.
It's
Miss
like
Martin.
I mean, because India needs some good stuff, but it's like.
Dude, India has some great stuff. Again, like, these people don't like Indian Terminator. I don't know if you've ever seen clips of that movie. The movie is insane. It is off the walls, and it's fantastic.
But the thing, like, it's just puzzling, like the whole Archie thing, and I just like it'd be really weird.
That's the thing that like puzzles me, because like to me, like things like this, like what if the Archies were Indian, right? Those to me were always like. Essentially Elseworlds or like what if stories, right? If a publisher wanted to do a story like that, they knew that this is going to be like, we know it's a different take on our characters, so not everybody's going to be behind it, but we're going to release it in like a limited format, not break the bank, but we're going to let this idea go out there. Like, why not? Batman versus Jack the Ripper, or Arabian Nights, Green Lantern, like things like that, like fine. The problem is when you start to bring it, like when you want to sell it to everybody else, like, because the way I'm thinking of this movie, and I'm like thinking about talking to a friend, right? You go, oh, they're making a movie on the Archies, but but they're all Indian. No, it's not the actual Archies. It also takes place in like 1960s India. No, it's none of the actual characters. It's Indian version. Like, you have to start prefacing it, and it's all weird. Like, man. And again, I go back to this thing where it's like, they mentioned here that the Archie comics are super popular in India, right? Do they? I don't think the Indian people are sitting there going and looking at the comics and going like, drawn with white skin, he's meant to be Indian. Like, I think they like the characters that they grew up with as they're presented. Again, it's the thing with adaptation versus like translation almost. Where like, or like not even translation, but like taking your own spin on it. Where like, if you're adapting something, you should be taking care to be as accurate as you can to that source material.
Yes.
Like, yes, you might screw up and it might be a bad movie, right? It might be a bad project, but as long as you were like faithful to the source material and tried to bring it to life, people are going to give you leeway, because growing up, like, these are the characters we grew up with. Like, I want to see Peter Parker, white Peter Parker on screen. I want to see I want to see like Black Blade. I want Blade back. Like, I want these characters as they are. I don't want them as different versions. I'm not going into your like. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the comic. It's one of my favorite ones because it's so simple. But it's just like a stick figure comic where this guy he sees a bunch of advertisements on TV, like coming soon. Whoops. My Apple Watch, like coming soon, Blue the movie, and he's like, "What?" And it's like the color blue, right? And he's like, "Wow, I love Blue. Like, I remember growing up with Blue. I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait to see Blue in live action. I remember this scene." And then he goes to sit down in the theater, and the screen flashes blue, like the words blue, but then the background is all red, and then the viewer's like, ah, and like that's how I feel about adaptations. You're bait and switching, and I don't know why you have to bait and switch like that. There was a time, and I've told this to John on the stream before, like when they cast Heimdall in Thor as Idris Elba or Eldra, I think that period was the period where it was like race swaps were fine if it was on the basis of like, this is just the best actor for the job. Like he plays the role how we want to see it. Yes, it's a little different, or like his skin color is different, but we're gonna roll with it, like just like they did with Kingpin in Daredevil. But that was such a small window where because after that they saw like, oh, we can just start pushing. We'll start pushing it. They'll all love all these changes, all this diversity, and it's like, stop. We gave you some leeway at first. But now you're like, we gave you an inch and now you're taking a mile. And that's definitely what I feel like they're doing.
Not gonna lie though, in Riverdale, man, that chick that played Veronica was a smoke show.
Oh, everybody in that show was a smoke show. And Betty, like the blonde woman who played Betty, I love her. The weirdest one to me was what's her name? Miss Grundy, the teacher. Like she is a smoke show in Riverdale, but in the comics, she's definitely like the old school, like gray hair in a bun, long purple dress, like pointing to the blackboard type teacher. Like it was Whiplash.
Yeah, man. It just the Veronica chick though was like she was mad hot.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Like, I was like, oh, hello.
That's exactly it. You to me, if you are true to the story and the comic and the history, people will give it all forgiveness for effort. Exactly. It's that A for effort. Like, oh, F on the movie itself because it kind of screwed up. But you know what? A for effort. It was an earnest sort of shot at it. You know, like I think that's how a lot of people view Spider-Man 3, where it's like that was a bad movie objectively, but Raimi tried his damnedest to kind of, you know, be as true to the character as possible while battling Sony's like, we need Venom in there, we need all of this, like all the studio mandates. So we end up with a story that is bad, but we don't look at it as like, look at how they trashed the like original character. We just thought it was a bad direction that they took that character in. You know what I mean? Yeah, Black Panther does kung fu, so they should recast Chadwick with an Asian guy. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if Falcon can't even walk down the street without getting stopped by the cops, how is Blade going to carry around a katana? That's the thing. This is what I talk about all the time. You can never have, like, that's why it's such a hard and honestly, you should probably avoid it as much as possible. It's really hard to do one-to-one stories about social real-world issues because you have something like this where it's like, oh, so you want to have the idea that we have the same sort of like racial stop problems in the MCU that we have in our real world. Well, then exactly like Bunny's saying, well, then how is this other hero going to carry his weapons around? How do any of these other people walk around like this? Like it gets into the weeds and you have to have all these bizarre explanations. Like I'm sure they could probably have, I mean, you can't hide a katana. I was thinking like, but you can't. Like you could have a collapsible one, but that's not cool. That's just not that tight. That's a thing, Sean. Yeah, the actors in Riverdale were hot 30-year-olds playing teenagers. That's a weird thing that they just do in Hollywood in general that I'm personally weirded about. Where it's like this character is 14. Let's cast this super attractive like 23-year-old, and it's like, what wires are you trying to make me cross here? You know? Yeah, dude, that's the best. That's the best movie. Spider-Man 2, cried in the theater when all the people on the train became heroes. I love that entire train scene from that awesome shot where it's like Spider-Man's swinging to fight Doc Ock, and then it like pans out and you see it's in his like sunglasses, and then that moment where everybody's like, "You gotta go through me," and then Doc just like splits him apart. I love that. I hate all iterations of Venom who was born from Secret Wars, not alien invasion crap. Venom was the black Spider-Man costume. Yeah, I really don't like where they've taken the whole symbiote stuff in the comics. Like that direction is really weird where they're like I liked them better when they were kind of just like mindless blobs, right? Like that fed off your emotions. That's why they had the rage in Peter and then they fed off with Eddie. But now they're like a full-on sentient race that have existed for millennia and have different, I don't know. It's too much. That's the problem these days. Like when you don't let your stories end like Marvel and DC do, you just have to keep going on forever and you have to just keep making up ridiculous stuff like this just to have something new. And it's like, why didn't you, like, this is just not working. Like just try again, like have a company-wide reboot and commit to it. Yeah, the leaks, in case you haven't seen them, I wonder if John actually included them in his article. Yeah, it's not too deep of a dive, but it is pretty interesting. I don't even know what the headline image or he used for it. Oh yeah, I do. He used I saw it. I saw him. Wow, we've published quite a bit. There it is. Yeah, so in case, okay, John Campea. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think John included them because we didn't want to get dinged. Yeah, in case you haven't seen it, the current leaks for No Way Home basically confirm Charlie Cox is coming back. He is Daredevil. He is Peter's lawyer. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, it confirms like Maguire and Toby, but kind of already knew that. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, so like Hajime no Ippo and both Detective Conan, I still have sort of that same issue with them where it's like, because they have to go on forever, more and more sort of ridiculous things have to happen to make sure that, you know, like Conan stays a kid or like, so like to me, I would have been fine if Detective Conan would have just ended a while ago and you had another spinoff or you had a sequel or something. I don't know. It's weird to me. Spider-Man's power is magical. I don't know what you're talking about, Mitch. Clarify for me. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Charlie Cox is the best Daredevil. I mean, I know we've only had 2, but man, I am so sad that we are not going to get more of him. Like it's a damn shame. I love Daredevil. I'm just thinking now, the reason I keep going circular is I'm thinking of just like all the awesome scenes from that show, like the hallway fight, the scene where he gets tied up by Punisher on the cross, or season 3, the whole fight against Bullseye when he was in his costume. Honestly, would rather watch a Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4 than No Way Home, but I'll take what I can get. Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you there. I'll take any Spider-Man I can get. Oh, yes, that's what you're talking about, Mitch. Yeah, the chosen by a spider totem, spider being irradiated was incidental. Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing. Giving him his whole like Ezekiel, the one backstory. The one thing I do like about this storyline, though, Mitch, is that Ezekiel points out, like, why do you think, like, yes, you're a spider totem, you're an animal totem. Why do you think all of your villains have been animals? And if you sit and think about it, it's like, yeah, Spider-Man has like the most animal-themed villains out of any comic book character. So I thought that was like a neat little thing. But again, one of those A for effort, F for like actual execution. And I've said before, and I'll say again, begone with Michelle and give us Mary Jane. More likely they're going to get rid of Parker and give us Miles. That's what I feel. I feel like you've got Holland already. This will be Holland's what, like 6th film? Because he was in the 2 Avengers movies, Civil War, and then his 2 movies and this one. I don't know how much more you can have. Like, I've heard nothing of him renewing his contract. So it's like, yeah, I feel like Miles is the natural progression. And this is also one of the things I hate with the MCU nowadays is that contract, or like movies in general, or like series, is like, if you know contract details, you know, like nothing really comes as a surprise. The second they tell us like, oh yeah, or like we saw that in Endgame, didn't we, guys? Like where everybody's like, oh, this is the last movie on Evans and Hemsworth's and Downey's contract. So it's like, well, then they're probably going to die or something's going to happen. Like, way to just take the oomph out of anything. I don't think it's about giving up Miles Nerdigans. I think he's part of, I actually think he might be, so Sony owns the movie rights to all the Spider-Man stuff, like his costumes, his villains, all that stuff, and his power set. Now, Miles was created after, so I think Marvel has the rights to Miles, but they don't have the rights to give Miles any connection to Spider-Man or his powers. So that's where they're going to have to like go back to their agreement that they're currently on. Vulture has the powers of a vulture spirit. That's kind of like, yeah, what they were getting at, right, Mitch? Where it's like, okay, maybe, but then they never showed like any of the other spirits or anything. So that's why I was saying, like, it's a cool idea, and I was sort of behind it. Just not a really great execution. Yeah,
Shinkai, my boy Godzillionaire, by the way.
Godzillionaire. Oh, dude, POZ. I don't know what I'm saying. Hail. Yeah, Shinkai. Totem might have been a debatable bad choice, but nowhere near as bad as Clone Saga or One More Day. 100% agree. Clone Saga probably the worst like editorial storyline of all time. Like they straight up just, there's a character, guys, named Judas Traveler who showed up in that he was introduced in the Clone Saga. He was supposed to know everything about Spider-Man and his clones and all that. And then he when Marvel editorial realized, like, what is this character? Like, what are we even doing with him? They literally just stopped writing him. In his last issue, he like walks out like away from Spider-Man on the ground. He's like, I'll be seeing you soon. Like, I have to go take care of this. And he's just never shown up again. So yes, Clone Saga is bad. One More Day is bad. Obviously, they've retconned it. Which is so funny, actually, that you bring that up, Shinkai, because they've just retconned One More Day, but now they're revisiting Clone Saga because they brought Ben back, which is super weird. Yeah, a Miles Morales movie will basically be a Venom movie, a new made-up origin to the character. I think you're completely right. It's the powers part that, like, I don't know. Can you have a Miles without spider powers? Like, you can have his Venom blast, but I think you need the wall crawling and stuff, you know? So, again, I don't know the contract or the agreement between all of them, but that is my understanding. Kraven the Hunter involved in this. He is, in the fact that I think, like, he's supposed to fill the role of like the natural predator in the world and sort of like keep everybody on their toes or try and like weed out the weak totems. Kraven rules. December 22nd, 2023. Wasn't that the day the Mayans said would be the end of the world?
Mayan calendar?
Yeah, Mayan calendar. December 21st, 2012 was the end date for them. Honestly, I feel like that whole debacle with like, oh, that's the last date on the Mayan calendar. I feel like it was just the dude got like bored or like lazy or like, I'm going on lunch. And then the conquistador showed up and you really don't have time to get back to making your calendars. Star Trek on the same day as the unannounced Star Wars movie. I would honestly, as from a business perspective, like playing devil's advocate for both sides, I want to say like bad like move. Like somebody's got to switch that. But from a fan perspective, I finally want to see them go to head like this. Like, let's just give him the give fans the Star Trek versus Star Wars showdown we've been waiting for. Mysterio was not given the powers from a goldfish bowl totem. He was just naturally born as Bruce Campbell, who is just naturally that charismatic. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where Mysterio fits into it. I think he's just there. Maybe if the Aztecs hadn't killed off so many Mayans, it could have. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, you got the Aztecs, you got the conquistadors, everybody's showing up. You don't. Some things take precedent over making your like the second page of your calendar. Yeah. So we are at 9:00 over here on the West Coast. I think.
Yeah, I gotta actually dip in about 8 minutes, so that's
no worries. Do you probably want to dip now? Because I was about to switch over to anime to One Piece, and I don't know how much you know about One Piece.
Yeah, I can't say I'm very read up.
When we get Robotech news, you'll be the first one on the panel.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that's my jam right there. I mean, I am like old school. See, like I am not, John and Spencer are like the well-versed anime guys on staff. I'm like
that's us.
I'm like the traditional Western sci-fi dude that's like,
yeah, right there, Drew from Godzillionaire. Anime, Drew dropped a smoke bomb and bails.
Yeah, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, I'm all in. Now, see, the anime precursors that we grew up on,
Drew's right there with us.
Those of you that are Gen Xers out there, you know what I'm saying. Star Blazers, Robotech,
yes.
Voltron, old school Voltron. I'm there. I'm down for all of that. It's just like the new stuff, a lot of this anime stuff now, I'm just not keyed in on. And that's okay because,
it's totally
these guys are killing it with it. John and Spencer are killing it. I'm just not like super up on it. Now, if we get into the,
I think that's great because we definitely need John's totally more into like the like he's Star Wars and like literature, and then you've got like the Western sci-fi and like the horror movies and all that kind of stuff. Don is our Marvel guy, JB's our DC guy, I'm the anime guy. Like we've got, and then Josh is our sort of like celebrity guy. We've all got our roles, and I think they're all great.
Yeah, exactly. So, So we got that. Reveal, that is a running thing because I know there's a lot of people, and I've seen some of the Macross stuff, the original Japanese Macross, and there's merits to both. I know that Harmony Gold gets a lot of hate for the adaptations in a way that they did Robotech because those of you folks that don't know the history of Robotech, it was actually 3 different animes that they combined into one huge saga. You had the Macross saga, then of course we had the story of Southern Cross with Masters, and then we had New Generation with the motorcycle suits and the Invid.
I like those ones.
And yeah, dude, those suits were so awesome. The way that because that was the Scott Bernard story, and those were awesome. Man, see, now I want to go through. I actually want to do a thing almost
Definitely
like I do
not.
with Pegasus Actual with Robotech.
Oh man,
Really?
if you do, I'm right there on the panel. I've been wanting to go through Robotech again, like for so long.
Dude, because it's so cool.
It is.
And because I actually had been like here and there watching episodes of Masters because I didn't really watch a lot of Masters. I kind of glossed over Masters when it was on when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
I was super into the Macross saga, and then I got into New Generation, but I kind of glossed over Masters, and I sort of paid attention to the episodes and realized how cool it was with Dana Sterling, because she was actually a really good character. Say what you want about Robotech as a whole being 3 different animes, but the way that they weaved it in, I actually, I didn't give Masters a lot of credit back during the original Harmony Gold run when I was a kid. And then going back and watch it now, I really appreciate the character of Dana Sterling. It was a really, really cool. So, Drew, call it "Don't Macross the Streams." I like that, Godzillionaire. Yeah, I mean, it's a thought. I would like to do it because Robotech had some really cool stuff. It had a lot of heavy moments. I mean, it was very groundbreaking for a Western cartoon, especially when we were kids watching it, because it dealt with very heavy principles. There were actual character deaths. It wasn't always pleasant. Very similar to Voltron, because if you remember, like, they originally had Sven dying in Voltron. So, cartoons were serious business then. And those ones were definitely serious. Robotech, heck, even Star Blazers.
Yeah, Star Blazers was super.
Star Blazers was super serious, man. Yeah. Godzillionaire. Yeah. Oh God, the Ray Fokker death scene, man. Oh, that killed you when because you thought that they pulled through the mission. That was such a sequence.
Yeah,
then,
dude.
He gets back to the ship, and then it just rips your heart out. And then you feel so bad, and that's what I'm saying. That was storytelling. You made you.
Yeah.
You cared about the characters, like, because you genuinely felt bad for the his fiance left behind when when he died. Claudia Grant. You felt bad for her.
Yeah. No, you connect with these characters because it gives you the time to develop them.
Yeah, and even the whole thing, like when Max met Miria, and that whole thing, man, it was crazy. I mean, it was so cool. There was so much to love about that because, like, it's It's basically like you piss your future wife off so bad by beating her in video games, she wants to come kill you in the park afterwards. It's like, it's I
Oh
mean,
man, e-girls? That sounds like an e-girl.
yeah, I know. I mean, it's great, dude. I was like, but I loved Robotech. I loved all of them, and yeah, it's like I was saying though, Spencer. I'm trying to reconnect with Masters because that was like the middle series between
Yeah.
Macross and
And
New Generation.
yeah, New Generation.
So, and I was telling the chat, I like, going back and looking at it now. I kind of like the story explaining the connection between the Robotech Masters and Protoculture and Dana's character. I like Dana Sterling, and I kind of glossed over her at first, and now going back, I mean, she's pretty much a badass.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. Like that's what I mean. Like I would love if you do something like that. If you do a rewatch, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, folks. I want to just say thank you again for coming out for our stream this evening. We are so happy to have you guys as viewers, not only of our Black Pill stream and our other content, but just reading, bounding into comics, and being dedicated to your support of our site and the things that we do and our journalism. It means so much to us to have you, and I'm so
Absolutely.
appreciative of all of you also that support my personal channel, and thank you for supporting Rogue Entertainment and the stuff that we're doing there. So
if you don't yet, you should start.
yeah, and you guys are really awesome. Much love. I will see you guys tomorrow on Pegasus Actual, and then I will see you right after Pegasus Actual over on Comics' channel for Thursday Night Throwdown. Because hashtag Dick's Division. I'm all about my boys at the Dick's Division too.
Oh, I love comics. I love everybody over there.
So yeah, you guys take it easy. I will see you again next week. Spencer, if I could do a piece tomorrow, I'll get with you and we'll see about getting an article going.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds good.
Yeah. Good night to all of you in the chat. Good night, Sean the Movie Man. Good night, Godzillionaire, and all my friends. Much love. Peace.
Good night. I was just doing the Sound of Music thing.
All right, thanks, my brother.
Later, buddy. I'll see you
Right.
soon.
Good night.
Oh man, no more Drew. I guess that means it's anime time. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So, man, I already miss him. I was loving that Robotech talk. Yeah, Sean the Movie Man. I don't know if this was anime, but I loved Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon series. Well written, fantastic. 100% agree. Not really an anime by general consensus because it was made in America. It is anime inspired, styled. That's kind of like the big debate we're kind of getting to as anime becomes more popular in the West. What qualifies as an anime, what doesn't? Because in Japan it just means animation. So that would be a cartoon here, but they're not like our cartoon. So it's this whole. I'll leave that to the professors because I literally have no idea how you want to do it. My personal rule is that if it's made in Japan, that's like anime. If it's made in anywhere else, not anime. That's just kind of me. So let's get into the biggest topic I think we've gotten in, this week, and it actually dropped yesterday. We finally have the casting for the live action One Piece series. Yes, we all knew it was coming. We've got, there was a script. We at Bounding Into Comics got a script leak of the pilot episode a couple months ago, year ago. It was one of the first things I wrote up. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check it out. But I think let's just get into this cast. Let's see everybody's thoughts. Let's just talk about it. Let's get into it. Oh gosh, I know Disney's getting into anime. I don't want them to anything to do with them. This is exactly why, because I don't want them getting into any of this stuff, because look at what they did with High Guardian Spice. That is an exception right now, but it's going to become the rule. It's an exception to Western produced anime style series, because you do have a bunch that are pretty good. You've got that one. You've got what were we just talking about? Avatar, like The Last Airbender. Iron Man Armored Adventures kind of took inspiration from that. Symbionic Titan. So you've got all these shows that can do anime inspiration, right? And then you have things like High Guardian, which does it completely wrong. Nerdigan just mentioned Yu Yu Hakusho stage adaptation. I really wish we got those too, because they're always really cool, and sometimes they're like canon, and so especially for things like Kamen Rider, their stage shows sometimes are canon, and it's just like, dude, what? Like, I had to go find a transcript from this random stage show from like 4 years ago just to know why this writer is injured. Yes, Rahul, are we getting 900 plus episodes for Netflix? Because it's Netflix and we know they like to cancel early, probably only 600. So definitely won't be able to shove everything in there. Yeah, I personally like foreign entertainment in original language / subs. I hate dubbed movies / shows. I'm right there with you. I know there are a lot of people who do dub anime when they're like working, because it's like you can understand it, you can hear it in the background. Like John does that. I can't really do that because I don't know. It's just I'm just there with you. I prefer subtitles and original language whenever I can. Yeah, stage adaptations for Sailor Moon are great. Adaptations for things like Danganronpa are great. Even Japan does have a lot of really cool stage shows, and they even have them just like as like mall events. When I was in Japan, for some reason it was March and they were celebrating Oktoberfest. Like, it was super weird, but they had in Akibahara, they had a stage, like a street show of like a Toku street show. So you had like lizard men fighting a costumed like Toku hero, not like an official one. I think it was like the mascot for the city or something, but it was really cool. And it was like the most entertaining thing. I was out in the street, got some food, grabbed a beer, and I got to watch live action like Toku, like interacting with the crowd and everything. It's fantastic. Really fun. Yu Yu Hakusho live action. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. So as you know, we got live action One Piece coming, and the cast for the first 5 members of the crew are announced. You know, I've got them right here in the header. We've got Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, and Usopp. So yeah, they've been announced, and let's just get into it. So the first one we have is Taz Skylar as Sanji. Or here, let me go back out a little so we can see the full poster. There we go. Yes, so the first person we have is Taz Skylar as Sanji. Now, this is the one that a lot of people, like, I know that a lot of people, Nerdigans actually made this joke to me last night. Whatchamacallit? He looks like Eminem, especially in this headshot. This is probably the one I buy the least out of all the casting that's been announced, because I don't know. Sanji, to me, you have to have this sort of air, this way you carry yourself, right? And it is a super serious air that isn't super serious, but like right here, this headshot to me is like he's trying to be super serious, like actual serious, and that to me is not how I would convey Sanji across in the first place. But yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, Slim Sanji, Bunny. So I don't really know how he's going to be. I kind of need to see him with like longer hair and in a suit. Like for him, I'm kind of going to need to see like the whole thing, at least the hair, because that's the main thing. Let's see. Anime can do stories, character stunts, and themes that live action can never do. Live action is a waste of time and money. Adding CG does not make the series live action nor a cartoon. I think you got like a couple different points going there, but I do agree that anime can do things that live action never can. We went over that like a week or two ago with the Cowboy Bebop stuff, because I went into the like animation and the framing and the timing and all that kind of stuff conveys different hits and gravities and weights than live action does. Live action is not necessarily a waste of time and money. It can have, I mean, we got some great, honestly, like wherever we are now, MCU was fantastic. And that was a live action adaptation of the comics. So it can be done. It just rarely is, especially with Japanese anime adaptations. They are. I know we always joke in the West that like, oh, this is just a commercial. Like Eternals is just a commercial for the next Marvel movie. But in Japan, the live action anime adaptations are basically just like easy, cheap cash-ins. Now there are great ones, and we'll get into one actually a little later in this article because it's relevant. But for the most part, they are weirdly cheap, kind of thrown together really fast. Yeah, so it can be done. And yeah, I don't think anybody is arguing that CG makes it live action or a cartoon. I think that's a little irrelevant because you could have a CG in a cartoon or live action. Nobody's debating that. There's going to be censoring too. Nobody wants anime to be in live action. I agree with the last sentiment 100%. As for censoring, I just don't know what there is. There's not a lot to censor in One Piece, at least regarding like sexual content. There are violent moments, but again, this is like, so like, I don't know exactly where they would want to censor, especially given American like propensity to violence in our media. Like we kind of just don't care about it. So it'll be interesting to see. I definitely think there will be changes. And it kind of goes back to actually him right here, Taz Skylar, Sanji, and what DZ3 was saying about like Star Fox earlier. I don't know how well received Sanji's like womanizing and that kind of stuff is going to be received. So we might get a change there. I don't know. But yeah, Godzillionaire. If Nami is a surfboard, I'm out. I know exactly what you mean. Same with manga to anime adaptations. They've been lacking lately too. It's sort of getting into this sort of like easy lull where they kind of know like, or what is it like? Screw you, you'll buy it. Like that's kind of where we're getting in that right now. So I'm definitely there with you. Yeah, his expression looks like he just smoked an entire bowl and believes he can see between the weaving of the universe. First of all, amazing superpowers. Second, yeah, it's exactly what he feels like in this image, and it doesn't convey Sanji to me. So he's probably the one I'm a little. Yeah, that's the thing, Shinkai. I don't think you can censor One Piece worse than 4Kids. And when I think of the 4Kids censorship, I think of all the like the gun being turned into a like a clown thing where like a spring boxing glove. Like they literally had like one of them like guns turned into a spring-loaded boxing glove, and like Sanji's cigarette was turned into a lollipop. So like if those are the things that would be censored, I don't see those being an issue for a Netflix audience. But again, like I could be completely taken aback because knowing media these days, they just pick and choose what they want to change or take out. Culture Casino, cool sauce. No, the cool sauce is you actually showing up. Not that you wouldn't. I know I said that kind of weird. I just like seeing you. I just like seeing my friends. It's always a great time to see Culture Casino. Everybody check out all the work Culture Casino does. He's a very busy man. My personal favorites are the 6-minute countdowns, or I always forget the name of that show, where he does the 6-minute reviews of the day's pop culture news. Those are or news in general. Those are fantastic. So yeah, give my boy some love. Culture Casino is the best. Yeah, dude, don't give it up, Nami. Don't give it up, Luffy. Don't give it up, Netflix. Yes, they should. First of all, that's a banger of a song, and I'm not apologizing for it. So we'll go on to the next one. And I also put this the headshots in order, reverse order of how they join the crew. Just fun little fact. So then we have Jacob Romero Gibson as Usopp, which I think this is one of those fantastic ones. I think he kind of has this image, like this headshot kind of communicates an unsureness of character, which is exactly like Usopp, and he's got the dreads. I think author Stephen Walton, hail, what is up? I haven't seen you in half a minute. It's fantastic. So Usopp to me is one of the better ones. Yeah, Australian Super Chat, $2 from Ravul. Vic Mignogna to sing the opening theme. I kind of don't know. Like, I feel like that's not out of the realm of possibility. I feel like if the right people got in contact with the other right people, that's absolutely what is like it could happen. It could happen. I'm not saying it's going to or that there are plans. Just saying it's not outside of the realm of possibility. Yeah, Bunny. As soon as I pulled up Gibson's headshot, I was like, man, that's like he looks just the same as Taz. They right before the shot or the shoots, they hung out. Go D Usopp, heck yeah. yeah, so that's Usopp. Not a lot to write home about. I think this is one of the better ones, one of the safer ones. Then we have Emily Rudd as Nami. If nobody has seen Emily Rudd before, she is a absolutely gorgeous woman. Let me pull up a specific picture of her. She's in like a Nami-like pose. And it was really funny because I was showing it to a friend and it was just like, oh, hey, wow. Like, I can't believe I jumped or like I pulled the, I flustered myself. In the series, Nami takes, for her wanted photo, she actually thinks somebody is taking like a modeling photo of her. So she like does a pose with her arms up and it goes on her wanted poster. And then the photo I've been using to show my friends who Emily Rudd is happened to be in that exact same pose. So this is Emily Rudd, in case you haven't seen her before. She has not been in a lot of big stuff. She's been in a little side roles. She's mostly like, I think she's a model. I know I first found her on Instagram, obviously. Yeah, culture. I already talked Eternals a little bit. Maybe we can circle around back to it. And we actually did talk the Spider-Man too. Yeah, we actually touched upon the Marvel stuff. If there's anything you want to add, like definitely like bring it on up. Like, let's do this. Yeah, wow, an actual redhead. They do exist. Yeah, Sean, I haven't heard of any of these actors either, except for the one who does Zorro, and I'll touch on that in a minute. But I actually think that's for the better. I think when you do things like, I think it's always better to do sort of big adaptations like this with more obscure actors, because it's easier to separate. Like you couldn't cast like Scarlett Johansson as Nami right now, because people go, oh, Scarlet, or not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow. Like I'm right there. Like I associate her with Black Widow. But with Emily Rudd, you don't have any of these other things to like bring in, so you can kind of take her performance as it is. That was kind of the success that Marvel was doing with Phase 1. You know, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth in stuff, yeah. And in Downey Jr. and Evans's case, some pretty biggish stuff, but not household name actors like they are now, right? So it kind of gave you this blank cast that allows you to see this as like the work that it is almost. I hope I'm communicating that to you guys right. I think you know what I think I'm getting it. But yes, as everybody's pointed out, she is not as buxom as the Nami we know and love. Don't know what they're gonna do. On one hand, I feel like you just play it normal, because any other addition would be unnatural and weird. On the other, comic accuracy, I don't know. It's one of those weird things. If she had like a plated armor type thing, where like a Batman armor where you could just make the mold bigger, I think that would work. I don't know. Girls in the chat, women in our audience, let me know. Are there not ridiculous ways to make yourself like have movie ready? I don't know. All I can think of is stuffing a bra, and even then, I think that doesn't work. So get at me. Yeah, see, great. Sometimes unknowns are better for big adaptations. Yeah, that's always my sort of philosophy. Like one of the things, I don't know if you guys saw 1917. I don't know if you saw 1917, but the movie is basically like all new actors, fledgling actors, until you get to, and yes, what's his name? Martin, not Short. Martin somebody is the general in the beginning, but it's like easy to separate him because he's like one of those actors who can kind of just has that face, like a generic-y face. But the entire movie, you get sucked into this drama of like, wow, I'm there in World War I with this guy trying to do this mission. And then at the very end, he gets to the guy he's trying to deliver the message to, you know, don't charge, we're being baited. And it's Benedict Cumberbatch. And that just pulled me out of the movie because I'm like, dude, I know that guy. Like, that's Doctor Strange. Like, that's Sherlock. Like, it's so weird. Like, what is he doing here? So that's why I prefer unknowns. Now that we know that the Spider-Man film is going to be a downer, can we believe this could be the downward tilt from the Sony Marvel side? So we actually touched upon this a little. We didn't touch upon the downer part. So in case nobody heard, or you guys haven't heard, No Way Home is supposed to be super dark, or not super dark, but it's supposed to put Holland's Spidey through the ringer, make him suffer, make him the tortured Spider-Man we all know. I think that, so Culture, what I was saying to everybody before is that this is like Holland's sixth movie as Peter, right? So he's got to be nearing the end of his contract. We've heard nothing about like a contract renewal. So I think what they're doing is probably trying to set up a Miles, like, oh, here's our new Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So it's a downward tilt in creativity, absolutely, and I think it's a I know John would agree with me if he's here. And like, even though I love like all the fan service that's coming to No Way Home, I know that it's 100%, or like we all know it's 100% just like a big marketing thing. Like, come on, like we're like come back to the theaters. We know Shang-Chi was bad. We know Black Widow was bad. We know Eternals isn't that great. Like, come on back. Like, that's definitely what this is. So it could be a downward tilt. It kind of, to me, yeah, breastplates. I know what they're called. I just molded was the action. Yeah, yeah. So back to the downward tilt. So I think that it's all about how Marvel plays the next move, because with this big giant thing where you introduce all past continuities and you giant multiverse it, where do you go from here? Do you actually commit to serious storylines, or do you start introducing all of your all new, all different Avenger character or like Marvel characters? Like, I don't know. And I think that's sort of the precipice where Marvel and Sony are going to rest here, because they had all that great will from like Avengers and phase 1 through 4. And then you got to post phase 4, whatever we're in now, 5, I guess you want to call it, because the TV shows, or no, we're in 4 now. 4 with like the TV shows and Shang-Chi and all that stuff. It's slowly been eroding that goodwill, right? Because WandaVision kind of crapped the bed. Loki wasn't that great. Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't that great. And then you had Black Widow, and then Shang-Chi, and then Eternals. So now you're kind of at this, and then so if you're downward tilting, then we know that this Spider-Man movie is going to bring it back up. We're going to get people middling again. People are going to be excited. They're going to be hyped. So you're going to be at this point where do you go from here, Marvel? Do you commit to the way you've been doing phase 4 and antagonizing and scraping the bottom of the barrel and promoting I'm sorry, I almost went a little blue. Promoting freaking Star Fox as the next, like one of the next big players of the MCU. Like, do you go that way, or do we try to course correct a little? Start making, just not even like a full redo, just sort of correct course. That's where I think we are precipice wise. So I think that we are currently on that downward tilt. No Way Home's going to spike it back up, and then whatever comes after that is going to decide like the fate of the MCU, of how it goes forward. Yeah, right here. Nerdigans, who is a female, who is a woman. They could use cutlets, I guess, and insert them into their bra. And then breastplates would be the best option. Unfortunately, we all know that Nami hangs out in like a t-shirt, and then if we go post time skip, it's definitely whatchamacallit? Like a tube, not a tube top, like a tie, like a bikini top. Thank you. Goodness. Spider-Boy is going to have to go through an SJW struggle session. Look, if you want to be on the Avengers, you have to confess all of your racist sins in the circle and make a donation to Zoe Quinn's Patreon. The MCU multiverse, the MCU failverse. Yeah, that's where we're at now. So it's up to Marvel to show us otherwise. That downward tilt started with Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. Yeah, that's when it started. That's when we started like getting shaky and started losing that faith again. So, but like Captain Marvel turned out to just be sort of a middle of the roader, very boring, generic movie. It's like the worst you can say about it, unless we talk extra added removed scenes or whatever, particularly the guy on the bike. I know. But yes, I would agree. That's probably, I might say Age of Ultron, because Age of Ultron was just a weird mess of Whedonism, where you had weird quips, like everybody's quipping. You had a million characters. You had just every generic Joss Whedon signature thing, like a talk between a frail young girl and a father figure, or a strong female character who has a deep darkness in her, like with Black Widow. So, and then of course, like the whole Hulk Widow romance was weird. So I would say Ultron was where it started going downhill in terms of quality, but I think the overall discourse surrounding the MCU started going downhill with Brie Larson. Yeah, that's right. They would have to change it, huh? The Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. Dude, that's what they'll do. They're going to have like one of those big, like when companies roll out new logos and they're like, here's our logo. And then it like slowly fades into the new one. That's what they're going to do for this. They're going to have during like the next Investor Day thing or fan thing, they're going to have Cinematic Universe on screen and then like fade out or like get snapped away and then like replaced with multis. Yeah, exactly. Ultron was just evil Iron Man. The trailer made it look Shakespearean. That's the thing, is that he tried to make Ultron this weird. Whedon is one of those guys who he throws out an idea and it's good on the surface and it looks good like in a character description thing, right? Like honestly, you write down, what's your Ultron like? Well, my Ultron is a very contemplative, philosophical version of Ultron who still wants to destroy the world. Not bad. Could be cool. But then Whedon just takes that superficially, which is, sit with a skull and do the very generic Shakespeare pose, and then have generic, like, we're not so different and I've evolved sort of speeches. Like, they didn't do anything with it. It was very misleading. Volume dealer, when you swap a monkey boy for a black girl to ride a devil dinosaur. Yeah, this goes back to the original discussion. First off, hail volume dealer. Second, I don't know if you're here earlier, but it's the racism. It's the racism in reverse from Marvel and all these entertainment companies, where they think they're being hyper progressive and such an ally, but they're just feeding into generic stereotypes. Right here, they swapped monkey boy for black girl. That can't, like, that's a oof. And then of course we were talking Asian Iron Fist. So who knows? Yeah, that's see, Sean. Avengers was so good. Age of Ultron was disappointing. Let's see. $5 super chat from Culture. What is up? None of the plans around Disney stuff has performed. This is not lost on retail investors. Everything is propped up by megacorps, derp state plague. 100% agree. We do know that. We know that from Disney's most recent oh my gosh, like revenue, or like their annual report from last year. They were losing money in almost every division except their movies. And that was and that might have been like 2 years ago, even right off of the heels of Endgame and stuff. So yeah, no, Culture's definitely right. Nothing around Disney's stuff has really performed the way they want to. That they thought that their TV series would be cultural revolutions. Like, they would be these great things that change the medium and that everybody would love them and that all of these plans would, get super well received, but they haven't. Like, even if you look at, like, yes, people are woke about things and they try to push dumb headlines, but if you look at like that compared to what Disney's plans were, it's nothing. They didn't get anywhere as far. And yeah, retail investors are getting sick of it too. Especially when you have retail, or you have not Chapek. Is it Chapek? Whoever the current guy is it? Yeah, it's Chapek. Like, when he dodges questions from your retail investors about like what you're doing ideologically, it's not good. I'm right there with you, Casino. That's why that's why if they didn't have No Way Home coming right now, like in the next few months, I would say we're past the point of Marvel sort of recovering all that goodwill that it had, right? I would have said that not in a downward tilt. We tilted and we slid to the bottom already. But because of all the fan service and how they know they're going to get, fans in seats with the multiverse stuff, it's going to prop them back up. It's going to put them at that point, and they're going to see that. They're going to see fans liked this one. Like, fans wanted this kind of story that is just good and treats our characters like they should be treated. Yes, and I mean that by Peter suffering, because Peter suffers the most out of any superhero. But yeah, so I don't know what their plan is after this. Maybe you have some insight, but I don't know what like a phase 5 is going to look sort of like. We don't even have a interconnected sort of. So we all know that like phase 1, 2, 3 was leading up to Endgame and Infinity Wars and like the formation of the Avengers. Now we've got like several different post-credit plot lines that are going. Like we've got Shang-Chi being recruited into the Avengers by Wong. Then we've got the second Black Widow being told to go take out Hawkeye. And then we've got the Ebony Blade and the Celestials or the Eternals on trial, and Celestials are a thing now. And it's just like, where are we trying to go here? This is what I mean. Comic book, like this is like comic books where you have a billion different stories that all these creators are doing. And then Marvel editorial decides, we're going to do a crossover. So all these things need to connect. And half the time it's like, well, they don't. Like, what was I reading? Oh my gosh. Oh man, I was reading something Marvel earlier this week for research, and they did that, but it's completely escaped me. Quarterly today looked bad. I haven't seen it. I definitely need to look at it. I didn't see any financial info. That's not surprising. Let's put it that way. Ultron should have taken control of the Hulkbuster to attack Hulk, which Hulk didn't know about, which afterwards make Hulk leave. Again, yeah, this is the kind of like little weird plot things that like they introduced the Hulkbuster for that moment for people to go, yeah, Hulkbuster, it's awesome. Dude, I was one of those people. That's great. Like you brought in lore from the comics. But then, like I said, with Whedon being superficial, there's nothing after that. There's no real point to it aside from it just being there. Yeah, Steve, Bossman's got a little bit of a cold. He's got a sore throat and a runny nose. So I'm batting it down. I actually had Drew a little earlier. He just peaced out, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Revul. No Way Home is the last chance for the MCU. This is going to put, like, again, it's going to rebalance the MCU and put them at a point where they are in control of which way they go. Like I just genuinely don't know. Yes, Shinkai. That's what I've been saying these last few weeks. Best Avengers is Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and like a lot of good things taken before its time. And you know what took it? It was the Disney like merger, and then finally like getting the rights to make their own stuff. Because then after Earth's Mightiest Heroes and Spectacular Spider-Man, they went and they made Ultimate Spider-Man, and they made Avengers Assemble, which both series are awful. They're just really bad. They're poorly animated. It's a complete spit in the face. And yes, I agree with you, taken way too soon. But at least those 3 seasons or those 2 seasons of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, they're fantastic. Yeah, all Star Wars sequel merch and Marvel TV shows is underperformed. Yeah, that's part of their in Disney's reports, they group things like merch sales and comic book sales in this category called like theme parks and retail, I think. And yeah, that's the division that is just bleeding money right now. It's just not helping. And if you're bleeding money from your product with the theme park attendance and numbers being included, it's a big mess right now. Like I would not want to be a Disney accountant. That's what I'm saying. Volume dealer. Spider-Man is the only thing exciting anymore. My friend can't stop talking about that movie. Literally had no friends care about Black Widow or Eternals or Shang-Chi or even any of the shows. But I've got so many friends like Spencer. Did you see the No Way Home stuff? Like that's so insane. Like they're bringing it back. People are excited for this movie. This is what the fans want to see, and that's what I mean. We're finally getting something the fans want to see. So where do you go from here, Marvel? Do you go back to trying to do your best by the fans, or do you go back to trying to do like like do it better now? Like you like try to prove that you can do it better than the people who created these stories that made us fall in love. Fall in love with the stories. I said fall in love because Volume Dealer said, who's the pretty dartboard on screen? And it's Emily Rudd. And of course, that's why I said I'm in love, because she's one of my like celebrity crushes. MCU Ben Reilly. I highly doubt Ben Reilly's ever going to show up. That's me. I'm Ben Reilly fanboy, number 1 favorite superhero across everything. I just don't see it happening. Hulkbuster, more like Hopebuster. Yeah, because the movie kind of went downhill after that scene where they fight. Bleed enough money and we get KOTOR. That's the thing, is like That's what I mean, Steve. It's like we're starting to see more of these moves to like, oh hey, wait, come back, like let's get you back. Like a KOTOR move is Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Disney. That's their equivalent of No Way Home. That's them trying to right the ship and get back all that fan goodwill. Problem is the person like Jenkins is helming KOTOR. Is she not? I believe that's who they announced as helming that movie. Let me just look it up real quick. Knights of the Old Republic. Also, if you guys haven't played the original game, at least the first one, holy snap! If you're a Star Wars fan, do it. You have to. Director. Let's see. I guess it doesn't say anybody attached to Rogue Squadron right now. But whomever it is, they like, because I know like Kennedy and everybody is attached to it. And because I feel like there's way too much bad will over in Star Wars that, you know what? Star Wars already got their No Way Home moment. And that was the Luke Skywalker moment. Legitimately. Somebody like return of a fan hero that people wanted to see, treated it with somewhat respect, and gives you hope for the future of that franchise. Like that's where we're at right now. They want you back, guys. They want you back. It kind of just depends on if they get the right messages from it. Like if they look at the No Way Home returns and they're like, oh, everybody loved our movies just because it was a Marvel movie. That's the wrong lesson. But if you take away the lesson of like, oh, they like it when we treat the characters and source material respectfully and don't make it like insulting to the audience, that's the wrong lesson. It is Patty. Okay, it is Patty Jenkins. I thought it was. So with KOTOR, you have less goodwill because people know Jenkins. People know Wonder Woman 1984. People know like the direction Lucasfilm is going in. So you have, with Patty Jenkins, you have people already going to signal the like death flag. Whereas with No Way Home, you don't have that same level of like death declaration because a lot of people are recognizing like, you know, yes, it's a fan service fest, but there could be a chance. You don't know. KOTOR is just a rumor. Yeah, that's true. It is just a rumor, but I wonder if it's one of those rumors where like they put it out there to probe and then act on it. Yeah, dude. Oh, and Steve told me too. Yeah, Jenkins is doing. I knew Jenkins was doing Rogue Squadron. KOTOR was my first computer game and the best game I ever played. Dude, that's a fantastic first experience. I remember it. I was so obsessed with KOTOR my freshman year of college. I spent my first quarter just absolutely like I would go to class, maybe go hang out with some friends, go to a party, but if I wasn't doing any of that, right there playing KOTOR, just like in my dorm. Yeah, exactly. It's a shame KOTOR will never be remade by competent individuals. Yeah, as you guys all know, we're getting a remake of it. It's already not looking hot because we've already got indications that there's going to be stuff they want to change. If you are looking to play KOTOR, get mods. There are complete mod packages out there, like ready to go for you to just like unzip and install that make the experience like perfect. And the graphics aren't that bad. They're just like they're standard because they didn't try to go too realistic and they went a little stylized. It aged pretty well. So Andy Evans, yeah, this is Emily Rudd. She will be playing Nami. I should probably jump over to her wanted poster so that people can know what I'm talking about. Jump. Yep, there she is. We got a $5 Australian super chat from Ravul. The Spider-Man manga is amazing. It's a shame it got canceled. Are you talking about the one from like the 70s? That one is amazing. I like to call that one Suffering Man because literally the real only connection he has to Spider-Man is the costume and the powers. Like he's not Peter Parker. He has nothing. Like the first story is him stopping like rapists, like straight out like a gang of rapists. Like it's pretty dark. So I definitely recommend reading it if you're into manga at all. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Everybody, just check it out. It is amazing. Most people working on Obi-Wan think that will be the series that will course correct Star Wars. I don't know. I problem with that. I don't know if I believe that one because they're on staff I don't know who they're talking to. I don't know what their contracts say. I don't know if there's a push or a leak or, any sort of effort. But I just don't buy this being course correcting Star Wars if they're going to bring Anakin back as Vader, because that already kind of kills a lot of, like, goodwill is not the right word, but like, we know where Vader is. We know what Vader does. We don't need him to come back. We don't need all of this. It's the bad kind. It's the Hulkbuster type fan service where they show up and then what do you do with them? Do you think about the implications this has for the bigger plot? Do you think about any of that at all, or do you just think about the moment where everybody claps? And I'm pretty sure it's the latter. Oh, and if it's Johnson was the rumored writer for KOTOR, there's no will. The second you put him on anything Star Wars related, you're not getting that audience, or like you're not getting us, the fans. Like, they're done, and that's a huge chunk. I mean, remember, Johnson was supposed to get the a trilogy, and he still has not. And I know everybody keeps thinking like, oh, it's coming. Oh, he's working on it. Dude, we've seen no news, and this is freaking Disney. Sorry, just just had to reply to something. Yeah, so no goodwill there. Absolutely no goodwill. Yeah, Patty Jenkins lost all her nerd cred with Wonder Woman 1984. She's a good director, as we saw with the first Wonder Woman. Don't let her write it. Just don't let her write it. No, Slavic one. I did not see that. You see, Forza 5 makes you choose your pronouns. It serves no purpose in the game. They're just making you engage in a humiliation ritual. That's really weird. I didn't hear that. We'll definitely have to look into that. Yeah, so with that said, Obi-Wan has like 9 female co-leads, so my bet is that at least 2 or 3 of them will lead Obi-Wan by the nose during the entire series. Yeah, that's what, given the previous leaked casting call that we saw, that's kind of what I'm expecting too, is that it's going to be one of those, oh my gosh, just like, we know the stories where the big, cool, established character starts looking like an idiot compared to the new introduced, like, mostly female characters, right? Bad writing, and that's where I feel it's going to go. Ryan is directing a trilogy directed in his basement with a shrine to KK man out of reused Kleenexes. Hey, somebody's got to pick up the trash around Lucasfilm, right? So with that said, let's get back to this One Piece casting. So yes, as everybody saw, the beautiful what was it you called it? Dartboard, who was on the screen, was that's Emily Rudd. She will be Nami. Then we have this guy, Makinyu, who will be Zoro. And this is the one I'm kind of the most excited for, because this guy is a solid Japanese action actor. He was in Kamen Rider. He was Kamen Rider Drive the Next. He was in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 movie, if anybody saw that. He was, I never know how to pronounce his name right, like Oshiyama Niji-san, whatever. The best friend with the handstand. I genuinely can just never remember what the hell, like how to pronounce his name. And he was in that, but he was also in the most recent live-action Rurouni Kenshin movie. And the reason I'm kind of on board with Makinyu being Zoro is because in that movie, he has these awesome scenes. Here, this is a tweet I saw of him sword fighting in Rurouni Kenshin compared to Zoro. So, like, if we can get something like that, look at even that, like, that ridiculous, like, spinning in the air, that's cool. That's how you translate anime to live action. So he can clearly do the stunts. He can clearly perform as a swordsman. So I'm kind of all on, like, I'm good with him. Makinyu seems like probably one of, if not the best casting we've gotten so far on the series. Oh gosh! Oh no! Wait. I thought I didn't switch the window, but I did. It's just the I was looking for the wanted posters, and then I saw this, and I was like, oh no! I've been looking at the wrong thing. Now I am looking at the wrong thing. Oh, it's this window. I gotta go back. Oh, Batwoman's airing on the CW, guys. I hope you're all really, really like excited. Yeah, I know it's Okuyasu. I can never remember how to spell or pronounce his name. Like, it's just, I see him, I know him. He's like my favorite character from that part. I just could never like remember. Yeah, Nerdigans is there with me. Best casting so far. Kenshin movies were really well done. Those were those are probably some of the better manga slash anime to live action adaptations we've ever gotten. And if you saw Pacific Rim Uprising, he has a cameo in that movie. He's like the Asian pilot, but he doesn't really do anything. But yeah, so I'm kind of on board with him being Zoro. I really wish they kind of put a sword in his mouth for the Wanted poster. But then we have Inaki Godoy as Luffy. And honestly, guys, I've been seeing a lot of kickback against this online. I kind of love it. I do admit he kind of looks a little old, especially in the eyebrows because they're so thick. A little bit older than your 16, 18-year-old Luffy. But man, the hair is perfect. If you go watch, there is it's actually in this article. I guess I can play it really quick. You just won't hear the sound. This was a little promo video Netflix released introducing these actors, and see, there's Inaki Godoy, and all the rest of the cast. But I think Sanji is weird to me. Inaki feels like Luffy to me. Like I feel like he's got that right kind of carefree-ish sort of energy. That looked like genuine excitement when he said, like right here. I would bet that if anybody on the cast has read One Piece, it's probably Gibson and Inaki because dude, black people love anime and manga. I know that. And then Inaki is from Mexico, and Mexico loves shonen. Like they love Dragon Ball, they love Bleach, they love One Piece, they love all of that. So yeah, so I'm kind of behind Godoy. I think this is pretty great. He does, especially in this like specific shot, he does look kind of like old. I do admit that. And even here's his this is a picture I think like really portrays his energy right, which is like it's his official IMDb photo, which is like, see, this to me, I don't know, there's something about it that communicates Luffy, but he does look a little old. So let's hope Hollywood can do their magic and make him a little young. Yeah, see, I'm fine with it. Seems to have a kid-like personality from Shinkai. Shaun the Movie Man, they look like actual teenagers, unlike the 35-year-old Riverdale teens. Yes and no. I think everybody except for him and by default Nami, Emily Rudd, I think they both look like adults. I think with the proper makeup and costuming, Emily Rudd can look very young. So I'm not worried about that at all. It's just it's Godoy's like facial structure just makes him seem like an older man, and that to me, again, I've never seen him act in anything. He was in the show called The Imperfects, I guess is his biggest like Western role. Never seen him in anything, so I don't know how he looks in action. But just from these like normal shots, he just looks a little old, but not terrible. So, like honestly, at the end of the day, with this casting, I don't find it that bad. Out of all the things we've seen out of Netflix, this is probably one of the better casting things because they actually are treating the source material really respectfully. Because Oda himself, the mangaka of One Piece, years ago, somebody asked him, a fan wrote him a letter, and if you don't know, at the end of every collected volume of One Piece, there's always like a little Q&A section where Oda picks a couple fan letters and responds to them. Some of them, and they range in topic from like, hey, what would like Hody Jones look like as a kid, to how does this power work? Can you explain it a little more? And so years ago, a fan asked, hey, if the Straw Hats were in real life, like if they were real people, what would their nationalities be? Like, what do you think about that, Oda? And Oda replied, like straight out, he went, I put what fits with the character's image. Luffy is Brazilian, Zoro is Japanese, Nami is Swedish, Usopp is African, Sanji's French, and then the crew we haven't been introduced yet, Chopper's Canadian, Robin's Russian, Frankie's good old American, and Brooke is from Austria. So like that to me, I as soon as I saw everybody, like the casting, I was blown away that they actually stuck that hard to what Oda had for the series, or like his vision for the series. And then like I can't help but compare this, guys, to Cowboy Bebop, where you have like John Cho does look hyper old. Like he just looks too old for Spike. And you've got the creators trying to do their own weird interpretation of the series, and you've got like Daniela Pineda is agitating people when casting announcements are made, and you have what's his name? It's not Shinkai. I'm thinking Shinkai because you're in the chat, but Shinobu Watanabe. I don't know if it's Shinobu. Shinshiro Watanabe. He straight up admitted, like, I gave them notes and I don't know if they're going to take them. I have no idea if it's going to be good. And then you have this One Piece adaptation where you've got all these actors who are honestly outside of Sanji, who just needs to, kind of look the role a little more. From first to looks, they look great. You clearly see that the Netflix writers went with Oda's input. Oda also released a tweet here. I'm not going to read all of it, but he basically said, like, we've been working on this. I'm so excited to show it to you, which means like Oda is involved. Oda's clearly involved in what is going on, as opposed to like Watanabe, who was kind of just shoehorned out. And then, in the past, we've had Oda, like right here, Oda has said that he has 100% faith in the writer of the adaptation. I know that we've seen the writer is a big One Piece fan. Like, he started out as a One Piece like fan site runner. Like, he knows what he's talking about. So to me, it's weird because this all feels like the polar opposite of Cowboy Bebop. Luffy isn't specifically Brazilian, but I think I feel like that was the one that was probably the most specific, maybe outside of like America, because you have like Africa for Usopp, and then like Russia for Robin, and Sweden. So I also don't know how many Brazilian specific actors are out there. So I think going just with like a generic, or not generic, but with a Latin American actor is perfectly great for it. The gum fruit made his face stretch into wrinkles. No, you got it completely right. That's a pretty good joke, actually. They could explain it away like that. See, you want to watch the series on Netflix now. I don't know anything about the property. That's what I'm saying. Like, I am weirdly optimistic towards this adaptation, especially because, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we did previously get a script leak from an insider, and when I reviewed it, it seemed pretty damn accurate to the events of the first couple chapters, like up to meeting Zoro, which is where the pilot episode starts. Pilot episode starts with the execution of Gold Roger and ends with Luffy coming across Zoro, like crucified on the thing. So, and like there are some minor changes. Again, John and I talk about this all the time, where you have to sometimes change minor things for the medium to make it flow better. But there's no egregious like anything. Like there's no Gold Roger suddenly black or anything like that. So like all of it, all the ingredients so far of this One Piece soup make me pretty open to it. I'm not going to say optimistic, but I'm not running away from this one like I would Death Note or Cowboy Bebop. You know what I mean? And like, here's what Nerdigans is throwing out. One Piece live action has a Game of Thrones budgets per episode. That's insane, because Game of Thrones had a nuts budget, especially near the end. If you watched it, as you saw with the Dragon Fury and all that stuff. So it's actually really interesting you bring that up, Nerdigans, because this is something I was talking about with John. I don't know. Let me pull it up here. So speaking of stretchy powers, the other big stretcher, I guess for lack of a better term, coming to live action is our favorite Kamala Khan, right? And yes, I do say that sarcastically. So we have Miss Marvel coming to live action. And the interesting thing is, according to this leak right here, this promo art, it looks like she's not going to have her traditional stretch powers, right? Like that clearly looks like all like Green Lantern almost. Like I make it like crystals. Like I make this out of crystal and I can like extend it, or I can like push it up or whatever I need to do with it, right? I can make it bigger. I can propel myself up. So John and I were talking, like, very weird that Marvel Disney, like arguably the most wealthy like entertainment production company right now, if they moved away from doing stretchy powers. Because again, how many times have we actually seen human stretchy powers in live action? I can really only think of, there are like several gag moments throughout the years in movies, like comedy movies, like The Mask or something. But if we're talking like attempted realism, it's really only the Fantastic Four movies, right? Like, or at least that's what I can think of. And that stretching wasn't the best, and they also used it really minimally. Like and to be honest, the only scenes I can think of are him stretching his torso. No arms, no anything like that. Yeah, exactly. Looks like Harry Dresden using Soulfire. Miss Marvel fans are pissed. You know what? Fine, because now they get to know how we feel about our shit being changed. And I swore again, my bad. About our like favorite things being changed. Like, I have the second while I was writing this article, I was like, now it doesn't feel so good, does it? Doesn't feel so good to have the character you were looking forward to having adapted to screen completely changed. Does it? Sorry, I needed that water. What was I talking? Oh, so with that, that's what John and I are worried about. We don't. If Marvel is, so what we assumed from the fact that they're turning into crystals is that human stretching is still very visually hard to pull off, right? Wouldn't say uncanny valley, just more looks weird, looks whack, like poor CGI. So John and I were like, if Marvel and Disney are again the most wealthy production company isn't going to that because it's like presumably too difficult to pull off, how is Netflix going to pull it off on the character who uses it all the time? Like, I just, that's what is worrying me so far, or thus far, is Luffy stretching. Everything else I feel can be pulled off great. We saw Mac and you with the swords. Emily Rudd, Nami uses a staff that uses like lightning and the weather, which is we've seen before in movies. And then like Usopp uses slingshots and like bullets and like all that stuff is rather adaptable. It's Luffy's main power, so we definitely will. That's my main reservation right now. Of course, I can always be proven wrong. And then, yeah, I think the most important thing is kind of what Nerdigans is getting to here. Ravul asks, how is Netflix going to adapt over 100 volumes and over 900 episodes into a few seasons? And then, as Shinkai points out, well, there are some movies that summarize arcs, though those are crazy rushed. Yes, there absolutely are. And because they rush the arcs, fans always are kind of like, what about that part? Like, you're skipping so many things. That was kind of like how I felt about the JoJo Part 4 Diamond is Unbreakable movie. I felt like they tried to rush past all of the setup of, I always forget what city they live in, but like they missed all of that slice of life world building stuff in the beginning, which was important to understanding the villain in the second half, to rush so that the first movie would end and let them have the entire second movie for the villain. So those do exist. I hope they don't pull that off. But yeah, it's like what Nerdigan says here. We'll have to see what the pacing is like, plus no filler. Here's where I feel about the episode list, essentially, or the release is. So we all know, or not we all, but if you watch anime, you know that sometimes when they do adaptations of series that are in progress, they will obviously catch up to where the manga is at that current point, and the anime production staff has a choice, or not always a choice. So if you're part of the big series like One Piece or Dragon Ball or Naruto or something like that, you can, because you know that the story is going to keep going and that you're going on for a while, you can throw in filler. And that's where we see things like a swimsuit or beach episodes or cooking episodes or things like that. But when it's a show on Netflix where you don't necessarily know how long you're going to go, I that's where it worries me, because pacing out a series for, say, 16 episodes is different, is much, much, much different than pacing a series out for 50 episodes. And so, and I worry that wherever we go near each season conclusion for One Piece, it's going to get into this very murky balancing act where it's like, we want to give them a conclusion to this arc and tease further stuff, but we genuinely don't know if Netflix will pick us up. So how much future stuff can we change? That's the sort of area I'm kind of curious about. And yeah, see, Netflix and pacing don't mix well. They historically haven't. We've seen rush jobs. We've seen series drawn out way longer than they needed to be. So again, they need to come out with their best guns. You need your House of Cards pacers. You need your like Orange is the New Black character developers. Like, you need your big guns. When and if they ever do Chopper and Brook, those would be really difficult to pull off in live action. I think Chopper is hard. I think Chopper is definitely hard because it's going to be a weird little CG companion, I guess. Honestly, he probably will end up looking like Sonic from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And Brook, I'm not really worried about because end of the day, he's just a skeleton. And skeletons are, dude, that's like, those are one of the easiest models, like frames to work with because it's just the basic structure. So I'm not entirely worried about Brook. Again, I have to see how they implement the budget. Yeah, Nerdigan said they have the Game of Thrones level budget, but if they don't use it right, then what's the point, right? Like if they don't put it towards making everything look great on screen and translating well onto the screen, what's the point? Slingshot reminds me the Doctor used a weapon in the last episode. For those who used to love Doctor Who, isn't that not what the Doctor's supposed to do? I'm only tangentially like I know some. I had an ex-girl. I think I've told this before. I had an ex-girlfriend who was really into Doctor Who, so I know some stuff. And then like Flux, because we're covering it, it's in like my peripheral, but I don't really know that much, so I'm not entirely sure. Bunny, I think that's not supposed to happen. One Piece is infamous for filler, absolutely, Nerdigans, but that also goes back to the point I was saying before, where they always catch up really fast to where the manga is, so they need time to let Oda sort of create that story and let it play out, and so they'll introduce very long filler arcs to give Oda and the One Piece team like a month or two to get through that arc or that story wherever they are. I know that one of my favorite examples of this is One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, the Muso video game. The first three games kind of go through the plot. You know, first one is like East Blue, and then the second one is when they do the time skip, and then the third one is when they start getting to like Impel Down and it ends when they get to Dressrosa. But then the fourth game, because it covers Dressrosa, and the manga was currently like in the very beginning stages of Dressrosa, they straight up had to say like, oh, the story mode for this game is a dream mode, a what if that may or may not happen, because they literally had no direction on where to go, but they needed to put like a story mode in the game. So that's always like, that's the example I always think of when I think of filler. Netflix Marvel shows had pacing issues, but still all those shows, including Iron Fist, is 10 times better than the Disney Plus Marvel shows. Dude, easily. This last week, Charlie Cox appeared at a like London Comic-Con and kind of told fans like, he kind of talked about plans for season 4 and was like, yep, season 4 was going to be all Bullseye. Like, we were going to get really into him. We were going to bring him in. He was going to be the central thing. And so, you know, we reported on it, and I had to go get images and clips and stuff. I lost at least like 45 minutes just watching various clips from the different Netflix Marvel shows. I love them, dude. They're so good. Daredevil, especially. Again, I mentioned it a little while earlier. The fight against the imposter, or the fight against Bullseye in the police station, is freaking fantastic. So I don't know where all those writers went, but bring them back. Yeah, old long-running shonen is known for filler. Again, it's because they catch up to the manga. Sometimes you get great stuff like the Dragon Ball Z license episode. Sometimes you get awful things like the One Piece arc with the villain who can make control collars as his power. It's really dumb. Definitely not supposed to, yes, but still use a slingshot. So they're just out of ideas with who at this point. If you have to like undercut that big main principle of your character, that seems desperate to me. I think we all do. I think I can collectively speak for everybody here when I say we love Daredevil TV, like, or the Daredevil TV series. It's just, do you remember, like, there was so much hope then? That was like phase 2. We got that awesome show, and Marvel was saying like, it's all connected, don't worry. And they just disappointed us. Like, maybe that's where my cynicism towards them started. Yeah, so that's where we are with the live action One Piece show. Don't know how it's going to turn out in the end, but I will throw my hat out and say I'm kind of open to it. And I know it's super surprising coming from our sphere, from me especially. But I don't know. It looks like this is going to be one of those A for effort ones, guys. At the very least, this will be one of those A for efforts. Let's see how you pull it off, because it might not work out. So we are wrapping up here at the last 5 minutes. I think I'll just touch upon these really quick because there's not a lot of info, but I know that they're definitely worth discussing. Marvel, Netflix did announce a Yu Yu Hakusho live action series. Absolutely no details about it yet, but it's there. And so now I'm torn because things like Cowboy Bebop and Death Note, obviously, I'm not optimistic. But now I'm optimistic-ish towards One Piece. I guess this is going to be one of those wait and see type of things where, are we going to get these 4? Or are we going to get like Black Hiei and Trans Kurama and, oh my gosh, whatchamacallit? Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. Kuwabara. We're going to get like a female Kuwabara. Like, I don't know. So color me skeptical. Yeah, it is, as Nerdigans has been pointing out to people on Twitter all day. It is being filmed in Japan with Toho Studios. So let's see. I think that's a step in the right direction to put it in the native environment at least. But I don't know. I don't know with this. Yeah, exactly. There she is again. Toho's doing the live action. If you want to watch Death Note live action, watch the 2006 one. Much better. Yeah, the Japanese one. 1 and 2 are really great. I think, isn't it 3 that gets a little weird? I think the 3rd Death Note movie goes a little off the rails and like in its own direction. But first 2, fantastic. One of the better adaptations. So yeah, buckle up. I'm sure we'll see more news about this. And then we got our first look at the live action Gundam adaptation, which is right here. I believe this is being directed by, Skull Island director Robert John Voight. So at the very least, we know that he cares to an extent. He might not put what's the best way to put this? His heart is probably in the right place, but his actions kind of fall short sometimes. Like I know he cared a lot about the lore of Kong Skull Island and all that fun stuff, and tried his best to make that movie great. And it's fine, it's good, but there are some weird issues with it, with the story. There are plot holes. He is also helming the Metal Gear Solid movie, which I don't even know I need to make that a movie. Just put the cutscenes in the theaters as like a TG, like done. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Josiah, that's one of the things too. That One Piece casting is pretty good, but how cheesy is it going to be? That's the thing. Is like, are they going to be able to pull it off with like real respect and like the right level of seriousness, or is it going to be for kidsy? Are they going to try and do the ironic thing that I always criticize, where are they going to make it quippy? Essentially, are they going to have to undercut everything and make it like a Marvel movie? All we can say is that it remains to be seen. Because Toho and Netflix licensed the deal to use one of Toho's stage or 2 of Toho's stage facilities in Tokyo. Seems like they're listening to fans. Seems like it. Like all of this stuff is a step in the right direction. This shot of the Gundam looks not bad. I have some issues with it as a giant Gundam nerd. The eyes look weird. The brow is a little too like straight lined. The beam swords look giant and not like actual swords. And yeah, I don't really care about the fact that he's not fully constructed. There's obviously distraction going on around him. But yeah, like this looks pretty good. Like it's if you showed this to me, I'd be like, that's Gundam. So we're on track, I guess. And then yeah, we have the Yu Yu Hakusho filming in with Toho, and then we saw the One Piece casting. So maybe things look up. But see, like I just don't, because we've been here so many times. So this is one of those things where they have to prove to me that they need to sell me on this. I'm not 100% in yet. You've got to sell me on all this stuff. And then this is kind of an aside, but it is Netflix anime related, and I just wanted to point this out before we leave because it made me really excited. As part of the so all that live action stuff got announced at this event called the Netflix Japan Fest 2021, or Netflix Festival Japan 2021. It was basically just a digital event where they showed off their upcoming offerings, what we're doing here, like from Japan, obviously. And then alongside all the live action stuff, you got a lot of news about the anime series that are coming to Netflix. You have the 3 beautiful voice actresses for the main trio in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, which, gosh, I can't even get like the Jolene voice actress. I'm just like in love with her. So we got a bunch of info on all this stuff, and we got the 7 Deadly Sins trailer, which looks really bad. It's like X-Arms. But what I was really excited for, guys, is this. We are getting a second Tiger and Bunny. If you don't know what Tiger and Bunny is, it is an anime from about 2007, 2008 about superheroes. Like, these two are 2 superheroes, but in the world, the audience sort of treats their superheroics as a reality show. So while they are going out and doing superheroic stuff and being real heroes, people are treating it like, do you think he's going to get enough points do you think he'll do a special rescue and get enough points to stay on next season? Like, weird things like that, right? And it's just like a cool take on that. But then you start getting into this deeper mystery of like corporate espionage and sabotage and kind of like Armor Wars, that Marvel storyline, if anybody remembers that, where Iron Man started going after people who was stealing his tech. It's sort of along those lines, a little bit of a murder mystery, but I love this series, and I'm just I have I guess a little preview into my sign off, but I am working on my like my top 10 anime videos and stuff, and I do have I'm planning on doing a series of like, if you like this, you're going to like this. So like because we have so many fans trying to come out of Western stuff into anime, and they don't know where to start. So I want to be like, oh, if you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of Superman, if you're a fan of like Dune, start here. And Tiger and Bunny is going to probably be on every superhero list. Like, if you love superheroes, check this out. Like, I cannot praise it enough. Obviously, like, I've just been rambling. Yes, Sig Zeon. Char was right. To steal a Chris Gore word, will it have the verisimilitude? Yeah, exactly. Will One Piece have the verisimilitude? I don't know. Yes, not a lot of people are hyped for 7 Deadly Sins movie because I could probably play a second of it. It looks like just one of those really bad CG, like anime CG. It's like cutscenes from the Tales of games, if anybody's played that. Just doesn't look that great. I would have much rather have seen traditional 2D animation for that. If anybody was around when John and I did our Goblin Slayer movie review, you'll know that I hate CG in anime because it's almost always super obvious. I know I was talking to Nerdigans about this. It's always like super obvious that it's CG. Like in Dragon Ball Super Broly, when they break the dimensional barrier and Gogeta and Broly are fighting in that weird dimension, that's all CG, and that bugs me because it's clearly there. It just doesn't blend well. It's an uncanny valley type thing. So yeah, that's why I'm not really hyped for it. Yes, Ultraman. We are getting a second season of the Ultraman, the Netflix Ultraman, which is awesome. Really, they took down. That was the official Netflix trailer for Ultraman season 2. So I don't know why they took it away. That's very interesting. But you can see that we're going to get the Ultra 6 there. That's kind of the next one. Like we've even got Ultra Montaro there. Super excited for that. Yes, can't wait for Stone Ocean. Stone Ocean looks amazing. I'm super excited. It's one of the best parts. Yeah, looks like a Nintendo 64 Wii game. I didn't think we could ever get live action Gundam, but this is cool. Yeah, I mean, it's better than you would have imagined. So again, cautious optimism. Not even cautious optimism. Like what's like dangerous optimism? I probably like that. Like I don't want to be excited, but there's that part of me, that little kid part of me, that's like, look, it's a Gundam in live action. Oh my gosh! $5 super chat from Revul. The CG in Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel and the Garden of Sinners is fantastic. That's actually true. The Night Heaven's Feel has really good CG. That's a good example of CG. And then actually, to bring it back, Tiger and Bunny does really good CG because they have to do like their armor in CG. But those are some of the better examples of how you do it. The Ultraman manga that it's adapting is really good. Yes, it is. I love that manga. I mean, you guys know me. I just love Toku and all that kind of stuff. There you go. Saw Tiger and Bunny last year and fell in love with it. Look at that. That's me and Shinkai. Spencer and Shinkai's recommendation corner. Tiger and Bunny. And with that, and with that recommendation, I think it is now 10:15 over here in whatever time zone I exist in now, and should be like midnight on the East Coast. I'm not one on the, I don't know where I am anymore. But with that, guys, no, it should be midnight. Yeah. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me tonight on the Black Pill stream. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. I look forward to talking with you every single week. Every time there's new news, I always go, ooh, I throw it in the chat, the staff chat. I go, oh man, can't wait to talk about this on Wednesday. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Kabuto Writer Mav. I am live streaming a bunch of stuff right now. I'm going to start Super Robot Wars 30. If anybody wants to come check out what that game is about, has Gridman, if we're talking anime or Toku anime. And then as soon as I can get my hands on it, I want to do a painful playthrough of the Guardians of the Galaxy game. So that should be fun. Let's hang out. Let's rip through it. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, my top 10 anime for beginners list, I finally found the time to go back into producing that. So that's on my plate right now. I have a manga recommendation video for my personal channel coming up, which we will host on Bounding. I'm working on those if you like X, you'd like Y recommendation series. So please give me a follow on Twitter. Check me out on YouTube. My channel's name is Kabuto Studios. I've been chatting in the chat all night. Aside from that, I hope you guys check out Drew's stuff. I know he does Pegasus Actual tomorrow, but he's got a bunch of great other shows he does throughout the week. Bossman is around. Maybe send him a get well soon on Twitter or something. But he's around. He's doing great. Check out Bounding into Comics every day, obviously, for his work, my work, JB's work, Josh's work. Yeah, Dawn is still very, very busy with his other job, but he is still around. I'm sure you guys are seeing him around. So if you see him pop up in a Twitter thread or in a chat, send him some love. Let him know that Bounding's always thinking about him. I mean, like I tell him that, but I think it'd be awesome to hear from the fans. And aside from that, yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I just remembered, if you saw the excitement on my face, buckle up for Friday. Friday, we get both Shang-Chi released on Disney Plus and Cowboy Bebop on Netflix. So, oh man, Alexander, you're showing up right when we're out of here. Yeah, Peace Josiah by DZ3. No, the same guy who did Detective Pikachu is he's not involved with this, unfortunately. It's John Robert Voight's the guy who did Kong, Skull Island. Slavic One, take it easy. Sean the Movie Man, always my pleasure. Yeah, check out Bounding into Comics every day, your best and greatest spot for entertainment, pop culture news. And with that, we will see you. Hopefully, John will be able to return next week. We will see you next Wednesday for another Black Pill stream. Same bat time, same bat channel. hopefully I can figure out this bat time zone. Until then, my friends, take it easy.